What up, Fightful fam? Welcome to your UFC Fight Island 7 watch along live stream. And at least for the moment, I am very, very lonely. So thank you guys for waiting so patiently in the chat room. Excited to get going after a nice 3-week sabbatical. I'm not going to be alone for long. My partner in crime on these watch along live streams, Lucas Grandsire, will be here. Sean Ross Sapp will be dropping in and out as he does. It wouldn't be a watch along without his malicious hands sort of popping in, ruining my overlays. But for the time being, it's me, it's you guys. We'll have more people join us soon. So hit us up in the chat. Let's get rolling. Who do you have in the main event tonight? Is it Max Holloway? Is it Calvin Kattar? A big fight for both. If you missed the 1-2 punch live stream yesterday, John Franklin, my guest, and I were talking about how, by our estimations, Calvin Kattar is really the one with everything to gain here, because if Calvin Kattar can beat number one former champ Max Holloway, he is without a doubt the next in line for the winner of Alex Volkanovski versus Brian Ortega, because I don't think Volkanovski has done enough yet to warrant an immediate rematch should he lose to Brian Ortega. On the flip side, if Volkanovski wins, Kattar is without a doubt the next top contender in the featherweight division. For Max Holloway, the road is a little more complicated. Yes, the 2 fights against Volk were close. Yes, to a lot of people, he won the second one, but it's kind of hard to justify a third rematch so soon after their last 2 fights. So what I think might happen is if Max Holloway wins tonight, he'll get a title rematch should Brian Ortega beat Alex Volkanovski. I think Holloway versus Ortega makes a whole lot of sense, but I am not too sure what you do if Volkanovski defends and if Holloway wins tonight. I'm interested in seeing it. Aiden Smith in the chat is asking, has Dana White said what went down in the big meeting yet? I don't think so. He said he'd be telling us at the top of the hour on UFC's ABC debut. I haven't heard anything yet. We've seen Brett Okamoto talk. We're seeing John Anik right now on the broadcast. We'll wait to find that out. Joseph Boza says, win or lose, Max should consider going up to lightweight full time. He has practically fought everybody in the featherweight division outside of Calvin Kattar. That's a tricky one for me. You know what? My biggest concern for Max moving up to lightweight is the power didn't really translate against Dustin Poirier. Yes, the Diamond didn't manage to knock down Blessed across 25 minutes, but he hurt him a lot. He rocked him a lot. And I'm not super confident that Holloway can sort of sustain the bigger guys with the more powerful punches over at lightweight. And I think there are some interesting matchups for him. Now, obviously, if Holloway beats Kattar, it's harder to match him up against people lower down the rankings. But I would love to see Max Holloway versus Zabit Magomedsharipov. I would love to see Max Holloway versus Yair Rodriguez versus Korean Zombie versus Josh Emmett. Those are all fights that I think are really exciting. And that's what John Franklin and I were saying on 1-2 Punch, is that featherweight may not be the pound-for-pound best division in the UFC right now. I think that honor still goes to either lightweight or welterweight. I'm personally a lightweight fan, but I think it is without a doubt one of, if not the most exciting divisions on the top end, because you're not going to get any boring combination of Volkanovski, Holloway, Ortega, Zabit, Yair, Korean Zombie, Calvin Kattar, Josh Emmett, Jeremy Stevens, and that's just the top 8. That's not mentioning guys in the top 15 like Edson Barboza, Shane Burgos, Dan Ige, Sadiq Youssef, Ryan Hall, Bryce Mitchell. It is just such a fun action division with all sorts of styles, boxing forward styles, kickboxing styles, Muay Thai forward styles, Ryan Hall's weird combination of spinning kicks and ace-level jiu-jitsu. It's a really fun division. So I think there's still a lot of life for Max Holloway, but perhaps he could insert himself into the lightweight title picture more quickly. So I agree with Joseph there. All right, guys. Let me take a look at the card tonight. And I'm sorry, I will have to. This is why I need some other people to hop up into this live stream, because I do have to bounce back and forth between some duties over at FightfulMMA.com. Check out our coverage. Lots of good stuff going on there. It looks like we're going to open up our main card with Punahele Soriano versus Dusko Todorovic. And these fights are always fun. Two guys undefeated, super cliche saying someone's O has got to go. For me, when we talk about UFC cards being interesting or not interesting, what are the stakes, right? Because, you got the Coach Kavanaughs of the world who are going to crap on MMA media who says, this card isn't that exciting or that card isn't that exciting. But when you have basically a fight card every week, I mean, we got 3 in the next 7 days, you need something to bite into beyond just the fact that there's 2 guys fighting. Because while it is true that even low-level UFC fighters are among some of the best fighters in the world, when you have that every week, it gets a little dull. So a card like this is exciting. A main card like this is exciting because if you look at the top down, you've got Max Holloway versus Calvin Kattar. That is a fight between 2 featherweights primed for a potential featherweight title shot. I think it's a near guarantee if Calvin Kattar gets it. And then at Max Holloway, you have this fan favorite fighter who, along with Jose Aldo, is arguably the best pound for pound fight in the division. That fight sells itself. When you move on to Carlos Condit versus Matt Brown, you have the violent dream fight, years and years in the making. And while it's not these guys at their peak, it's these guys at the end of their career. You get to pool their legend status. You get to pool all the great wars they have. So that fight sells itself. Santiago Ponzinibbio, a guy who was at one point prior to Kamaru Usman versus Tyron Woodley, Santiago Ponzinibbio and Kamaru Usman were supposed to fight. Santiago was in the running to be the next it guy at welterweight, an honor that eventually went to Kamaru Usman. Well, we had Santiago out with a really bad staph infection that nearly ended his career, right? So seeing him come back is so exciting. Joaquin Buckley, Alessio Di Chirico, another one where Joaquin Buckley made his name on Fight Island, a sensation after that Impa Kasagane knockout. To see him on a main card is another step for this guy towards the top of the division, off that incredible, possibly all-time great KO. And then, like I said, Soriano, Todorovic, 2 guys with O's on the record. Every fight on this card, regardless of the quality, has some sort of storyline to it. And I think that is really meaty. And that makes the entire card way more exciting because there are stakes beyond win bonuses and records, right? So that's the kind of stuff I like to see. All right, let's bang over to the comments real quick. That was a weird saying. And I say it because Josh C. chimes in. Ortega versus Kattar for the title in the future could be a banger. This is what I'm saying, man. I love Arnold Allen. Perhaps with the exception of Arnold Allen, there's no one in the top 10 or top 15 that wouldn't make for a good fight. And Ortega versus Kattar is a crazy style matchup. Joseph Boza chimes in. Dana told Brett Okamoto yesterday on ESPN's UFC Live that this card was already done when it was picked to be UFC on ABC 1. It was just by pure luck that this was the card to debut on ABC. Yeah, I don't know quite how they decided which card would air on UFC on ABC 1 in terms of like the timeline, but I think it makes sense. I'm sure they had some sort of, ringing in their ears that this might be the case just because it's during this huge fight week back on Abu Dhabi with UFC 257. You want to get a big card on ABC to promote UFC 257. Dana White's kind of going balls deep on trying to get as much money out of UFC 257 and Conor McGregor as possible, whether it's going after streamers, whether it's raising the price of the card. It's clear that this is the one he wants to put everything into, and it makes sense. Caleb chimes in. Is that a sweatshirt or a shirt, Shaq? I don't really know the difference. I mean, it's like a long sleeve sweatshirt-ish situation. And I got to say, I do like it. Shout out to my old man and his girlfriend for picking it out for me. And it's got these like almost fence-like designs on it. So I say, I was putting it on this morning. I'm like, it is perfect for a fight night. I'm dripping in the octagon from the neck down. Thanks for shouting it out. Yes, we did lose one of the fights. I can't remember. Phil Hawes versus Nasruddin Imadev hours before. I'm not sure why it is. Daniel Rubenstein, one of their managers, I think Hawes' manager, said that it was not because of the unspeakable plague ravaging the world right now. But yeah, for whatever the reason, we are one fight down. And I have been told that Lucas Grandsire will be dropping in the chat very shortly. Okay, guys. So keep in mind when you're watching this along, there is going to be somewhat of a delay just because from the time that I'm watching the fights and speaking to the time that it gets out to you guys, there's something between like a 10 to 20-second delay. So you're probably going to see a knockout play out before you hear us react to it. Don't mind that. Colby, our great writer over at Fightful, who's got us locked down on the live results, says that it was a leg injury. Thank you for being more in the know than I am. Here we get going, guys. Caleb wants to know any prediction for the Khabib announcement. Think it's just that Khabib's done and Conor versus Dustin is for the title. It's weird. You kind of got two camps here. There's the camp that believes Khabib is going to stay retired, and the camp that says Dana White would not go on the air and make such a big deal just to say Khabib is not coming back. For my money, I don't think that Dana White going on the air definitively means that Khabib is coming back. It could, but Dana White could also come on to say that, hey, Khabib is out, which means Dustin Poirier versus Conor McGregor will be a number one contenders fight or will be for the title. Dana already insisted that it's not going to be for the title. I'd hate to see him walk that back like 2 days after the fact, but it's possible. So I don't prescribe to the idea that Dana White going on the air definitively means it's going to be Khabib fighting again, but we'll see. I am holding on to Khabib staying retired for two reasons. One, I like the fact that he can stick to his guns, and two, it opens up the lightweight division to a lot of new interesting fights. I think if there's anything that will convince Khabib to come back, it's been mentioned, it's the UFC and UFC Fight Pass going all in on Khabib's new Eagle Fighting Championship as a feeder league. So I could see that being the motivating factor along with Khabib's mom's support to getting him back in there. Otherwise, I think Dana White's going to say that Poirier versus Conor and Dan Hooker versus Michael Chandler will now be a title eliminator tournament. That's where my money's at. It's going to be one of those two. All right, and I think we have Lucas Grandsire just about ready to go. One moment. Sorry, just getting the back up. All right, and here we go. The man of the hour entering the chat. What up, buddy? How's it going?
What's going on, man? It's me, the man of the hour. Apparently, there's many men fighting, but I am the man of the hour.
You know what he's not, though? He's not the man of at the top of the hour. Why are you 15 minutes late, Lucas?
Because some of us work full time and we don't get paid in the MMA industry, Shaq. That's why.
It's okay. This is like one of my two jobs. I also have to supplement this with other work.
I was about to say, man, this is the grind before someone like MMA Junkie realizes they have to pick up this hot prospect in covering MMA world. You know, so.
Yeah, trust me, the grind is not going to stop. Ron Patel chimes in, the lovely Ron Patel. Yes, Ron, because of your generous super chat donations, we've gone gold on the channel. The graphics team a while ago made a Twitter graphic for us that was black and gold, and I really dug the aesthetic, so we've slowly started to implement the gold look across Fightful MMA because we're here to be champs, folks. And on that lovely note, guys, if you guys want to help us out, do what we do. If you're on YouTube, please drop a super chat donation. It'll get your questions, statements, comments, whatever read as we start to dive deep into UFC Fight Island 7. Leave us $1, leave us $1,000. I've got my preference, but it's all good. Lucas, did you catch the prelims?
Shaq, I was at work.
I don't know. You can slack off at work.
No. Listen, I heard the Sarah Cheesecake fight was not great. I saw the Twitter comments. It did
Yeah, it
not sound like
was.
people were having rave reviews, but no, I didn't. I heard Austin Lingo had a good win, dominant or something like that. So yeah, but no, I did miss most of the prelims.
It's okay. You didn't miss much. It was all decisions.
Hopefully not this main card, right? We'll sacrifice the prelims for the main card. That's what we're doing.
Agreed. And I was telling the folks, I don't want to rehash it all, but I love this main card because top to bottom, there's something beyond just wins or losses at stake, right? In this one, you got two undefeated guys. Condit Brown, you got, legends on the end of their rope. You've got Joaquin Buckley building on his Fight Island success. Oh, I think someone's O's about to go. So, did you catch that? Tudorovic gets knocked down, gets up on his feet, throws a clinch from the knee, but he's so hurt, he immediately falls back over. Not the best autopilot there.
No, I missed it because I'm trying to log into Hulu TV because I'll go to jail if I illegally stream it. So,
Dana White. I mean, not that I'm streaming it illegally, but Dana White, he got you. He got you with the scare tactics, didn't he?
No, bro. I was like, listen, I have Hulu TV for a reason, apparently. So, if it can avoid me going to jail and then I take your job at Fightful because you illegally stream the fight, Shaq.
Hey, I am not illegally streaming the fight, first of all. And also, just a quick note from my understanding. If you're watching an illegal stream, they can't really prosecute you. It's mostly the guys who are
showing it.
Showing it, yeah. There's a difference if you're download, but I'm pretty sure you can't really. Not only is it iffy about whether or not you can prosecute them, it's just not worth your efforts. You're way better off trying to get the people who are distributing. Because even at the beginning, it says like anyone distributing or replicating this copyrighted content, right? It's not, hey, if you're watching this illegally reproduced content.
I mean, that's what I figured, but
bro, I'm upset that you're late though, because I was hoping to complain about a manager in the MMA space.
Oh no!
Off the air, but now you gotta wait.
Send me a message. Send me like just at least send me that. No, but I told you knew I had work. Like for the people watching,
no.
Lucas is a huge dick. Like yes, but that's not relevant to why I was late.
Yes,
it's on ABC, right? Look at that.
It is.
You guys get ABC in Canada?
I don't have cable, so it's possible.
Oh, Shaq.
But we're done. Hey, bro, you just missed the finish.
Yeah, I see.
You just missed the finish.
All right, do you see a guy crying on the ground? And
he is.
Puna. By the way, I had Puna on my picks. I don't know if you guys use Verdict MMA. I use it, and I had Puna winning it. So, I'm pretty sure I called that fight too. Hold on, let me go check that out.
I definitely picked Puna off the top.
Did you?
No, I forgot.
Yeah. I thought it was weird that Puna was the underdog. Like, do people who bet and stuff, do you guys watch these fighters? Like, that one seemed pretty obvious to me. Of course, I say that now that he won, but
it's a weird thing though, because sometimes I think the odds makers will shift lines to encourage betting, to induce betting. So they'll put someone who should be an obvious win at weird odds so that you're more inclined to bet. So I think the fight night odds are a little more indicative of how it actually looks than like when they first released the odds.
All right, so I want to read my picks out loud because I'm looking at my Verdict apps. Yeah, I don't know if you there we go. Verdict, shout out to them. They had me from the start, but whatever. No, I had Puna by decision, which looking back at it now, that seems silly. Like, could have predicted a knockout, but I have the only finish I have, dude, is this next fight, and then everything else I have it by decision. So hopefully I'm wrong. I do hope for that I'm wrong.
Funny that it seems one of their, I think it might have been Tujovic. I can't remember his name now. Let me pronounce this right. Tudorovic's mouthpiece got stuck. Oh, no. Yeah. Guys, let me know which guy got his mouthpiece stuck, so we missed it. But I think Tudorovic, God damn it, Tudorovic got his mouthpiece stuck in the cage. So they had to pause the action and retrieve his mouth. Who was it? Do you remember at the UFC Apex, someone's mouthpiece went missing under the cage for like 12 minutes?
No clue. No.
Do you not remember this happening?
No.
Oh, dude, someone's mouthpiece got stuck under the cage. and they paused the action. They had like 5 people under the cage trying to find it. They had people running in the back trying to find replacement mouthpieces. It was insanity.
That's crazy. I mean, the biggest mouthpiece thing I remember is Matt Mitrione losing because, his mouthpiece wasn't fitted. I forgot who he was fighting against. Was it Karatonov or somebody like that? And he kept flying out of his mouth. And it was a weird, very Bellator-esque fight from what I remember.
And they stopped the fight because the mouthpiece?
No, I don't know if you remember. Like, it kept flying out. And by like the 13th time, the ref was like, listen, if it flies out one more time, like, you're getting docked. And then finally, he just got knocked out. He was in his head about it. So, Matt Mitrione, heavyweight MMA.
Punta Soriano getting it done.
Who, by the way, was the PR guy at Dominance, good dude from when I worked with him. But, just if the people behind the scenes. Yeah, he was the PR guy. And then one day I get a text from him and he's like, hey, man, I'm not the PR guy. So I was like, oh, man, I'm sorry. And he's like, nah, I got to focus on the career full time. So I was like, that's a good text message.
Shout out to Puna.
Yeah, shout out to Puna.
Man of many talents.
Which is weird because I think he was the PR guy at Dominance while being managed by Sucker Punch. So, it's always weird when you see stuff like that. But at the same time, like, it's good that, people have the kind of relationship where they can do those things.
Yeah. They got to make that money. They can't just be sitting around living. God forbid Dana White pays these guys enough so they don't have to do that.
Oh, man, Shaq coming after Dana White, man. Like, you're going to jail. Like, if he sees this, you're going to jail, Shaq. Like, it's too much Dana White.
Listen, Dana, great job. I love the UFC.
Oh, shilling the
staff at the UFC.
Look at
Doesn't mean I have to agree with the wages they pay their fighters.
That's true. Like, I had Neil Magny tell me, like, we were talking about Hamza, and he was like, oh, it's good because we need to get paid more. And I so wanted to just, like, dive off on, okay, so what can you guys do about it? But then I know what you can do about it. You can form a union, but ain't nobody want to talk about that. Oh, it's so annoying with their union. Like, maybe we're on something.
Yeah, there's this thing that there's like this weird expectation that it's just a weird ecosystem because fighters think that the media doesn't go back to them enough, bat to them enough. The media is like, yo, when something happens, we talk about it, but you guys have to do stuff. And then the missing piece of the puzzle, I think, that people always get to is fighters, I imagine, often see what's trending. And unfortunately, what the fans are clicking on is not fighters' rights stories. It's clickbait. And it's not that, and I mean, they are, but it's not that media is writing a disproportionate amount of negative stuff about fighters. It's just that that's the stuff that people are clicking and retweeting. So, like,
yeah,
you're going to see what people are consuming more of, right? So.
By the way, first time we're doing this stream, Lucas has the new expensive ass chair replacing that shitty chair. That
did you buy one of those?
I had to. I had to. Titan Secret Lab.
Oh, how are they?
It's great, man. Lumbar support. I mean, it's way too expensive for what it is, but it's definitely like, it looks like a throne. Like you see it and you're like, good God, like, do you need that big of a chair? Like, yeah, I'm a large man.
Yeah, that's coming up one day as a purchase for me.
Well, no, you're standing, Shaq. Like, what do you need a chair for?
Yeah, this still hurts, man. You know what? Actually, on that note, the next purchase I'm getting is like one of those sit-stand desks that are like automated. You just push a button and it changes. You have like 2 layers.
Listen, to this guy, you are the worst.
Bro, my feet hurt. I'm doing this like 12 hours straight. And then your back hurts because of your feet.
Don't you have the toilet bowl to sit on?
Listen, no. Yeah, it's actually right here.
Yeah, I was about to say, I know the people kept talking about a toilet last time. I was like, does Shaq have the best office in the world? But nah, it's not a real toilet bowl.
I feel like no one cares about this conversation. Let's get back to the fight a little bit. We're being asked who is on our Mount Rushmore of MMA. Lucas, I know you just came out of the womb, but can you think that far back?
I don't know. Listen to Shaq. Shaq's like practically my age, trying to treat me like a child. You're
25.
You're a part of the kids, Bob, man. Like, don't.
I know, but I'm like the sensei of the kids pop.
Oh, this guy. Oh, God.
Although, technically, we know it's weird. Nick Baldwin has been in this industry longer than I am, and he's easily 5 years younger than me.
And he's like so successful. Like, you look at it and it's like, shit. Like, what's my excuse?
Bro, he gets his tweets up there, man. Like, I can't even get my tweets up on the broadcast.
But the fun fact about Nick, though, he used to have that little verified check mark on Twitter, which means you're important. And then I remember his handle was Nick UFC, but he got the blue check mark, and I guess he changed it because you can't be Nick UFC. I remember, I don't know, I used to pay attention to that kind of stuff. and he had the blue check mark, and then changed his name because Nick
Bro, he got
UFC.
his check mark removed?
Yeah, and he hasn't had. It's been years. Like I'm sure if you asked him about it, he'd be like, "You should have stayed Nick UFC." I don't know why I remember that specifically, but I do remember there's someone doing the damn thing.
Oh, that sucks.
No, but
Bro,
to get
I'm
back to the Mount
fiending
Rushmore,
for that verified check
hell
mark.
yeah. Well, I asked somebody behind the scenes who gave me some interesting information, Shaq. Which, if you tell me about the manager, I may or may not share.
Yeah,
that
I'll
with
tell you
you.
about it. It's just too long to say over text, so I'll just explain to you after.
Yeah. So to
All right,
answer the
Mount
guy's
Rushmore.
question, because I'm sure he's getting pissed off because he's like, God damn it, like he asked about the Mount Rushmore. What's Lucas with his crappy facts? Russ, what do you mean by Rushmore? Like, are you talking like fighters that helped found the
So
sport? Like,
I know
more
you're new
dominant
to the
champions?
U.S., but there's this big
Yeah.
monument with faces of
Yeah,
4
it's in
U.S. presidents.
Colorado. Like, yeah, no, of
Yes,
course.
yes.
Listen to
not
Mr.
that I've ever lived in America.
Listen to Mr. Canada / what Iran or something trying to tell
Yes,
me
sir.
about North Dakota or South Dakota, whichever one.
American customs. I've never been to Iran. Please don't frisk me at the border. Thank you.
No, so to answer the question, which I do know what it is. No, I feel like you have to have Hoist Gracie. I feel like that's the guy you have to have on there. I'm not sure like how far back to go. Like, do you add dominant champions or do you add guys that help found the sport?
Yeah, that's complicated. Okay, I'm gonna go Hoist Gracie.
Yeah. GPS.
I think so. You know what? I think this is the thing. You're not gonna see the best president on Mount Rushmore. You're gonna pick the people who sort of who are like pillars of the sport. And so in that sense, oh wait. Okay, we gotta do this quick because Dana White's on the air. I'm gonna go Hoist Gracie, Ronda Rousey, Conor McGregor. Ooh.
I think he's about to make an announcement. I mean, he's with John A. I gotta turn my sound on.
Anderson Silva.
Oh, here
okay,
it is.
let's hear it.
Here it comes. Here it comes. Come on, Dana.
I think I called it.
Oh no. But huh?
That's not an answer. That sounds like a load of crap to me.
It's so corny. What? What a load of crap.
That was nonsense.
What a crock of shit. About to angrily tweet.
I'm just trying to be a cash cow and say, breaking, Dana White says. That was nonsense, guys. Okay, let us know in the chat. In the spirit, we're going to put the super chats to a side for 1 second. I will read every comment reacting to that BS announcement.
Yo, that was trash. What the fuck? Really? Like, that's what... Oh, my God.
That was not an announcement. And honestly, that sounds like Khabib said no.
Yeah. It sounds like he doesn't know. He's trying to figure out if he still wants to or not. And he's like, oh, maybe if they impress me. Like,
I mean, I don't believe that. My hunch is Khabib said no, thank you. Dana kept persisting, and he's like, all right, we'll see what happens. But that sounds like Dana trying to turn lemons into lemonade unsuccessfully.
Yeah. That was wow. Talk about underwhelming though. You're talking about the decision. Wow.
All right, the chat is blowing up. Sorry, guys, I was doing some work here on the side. Let me get to it. Okay, Uh, Colby says, so the announcement was no announcement,
Yeah.
LMFAO. Joseph Boza chimes in, no answer. Dana is stalling. Yeah, this I agree with Kevin. It seems like Habib gave him a hard no, but Dana was like, there's still a chance.
Right.
Steven, basically, Dana White said, Habib says he's interested in fighting if someone interests him, if someone impresses him in UFC 257, which to me just sounds like nothing.
That's nothing. Congratulations.
Jack LeMade asks, what time in UK is start? Buddy, the UFC Fight Island 7 main card is live right now. You should be tuned into the fight. It's got a great first round KO. You can skip the prelims though. That was nonsense.
Apparently somebody played tennis on the prelims or something like that. If I got that.
Basically. Basically. Okay, what do we have coming up next? It's going to be Joaquin Buckley versus the man whose name I cannot pronounce, Alicio DC.
Isn't it the Jericho or something like that? Or am I just being an idiot?
Did you say Chris Jericho?
No. D Jericho. Isn't it something like that?
Hey, John Anik will let you know very
Right.
shortly. Who do you got?
My official pick was Buckley by second round KO. But you know what? I would not be surprised if this was the kind of fight where the prospect guy's supposed to win and then he gets beat by a veteran. So
yeah, Alicio's no joke. I think this is Kevin Holland aside going to be Joaquin Buckley's toughest UFC fight. I'm going to pick Buckley because I want Buckley to win and because there's way more upside to Buckley winning than there's to Alicio winning. But I don't say that confidently. That's definitely more of an emotional / strategic booking decision on my part.
is it Alicio that said that, Buckley's better than Holland? I saw an article like that. He was like, somebody said it was better
That
than
ain't the
Holland.
truth.
I was like, seriously, we just saw that. Like,
Bro,
no.
Kevin Holland in that fight was like teaching Joaquin Buckley how to strike. He was like putting his hands up for him and crap. It was insane.
The knockout was so good, like people forgot it happened. Like everybody was talking about Buckley, like, wow, what a UFC debut. It's like, well, actually. Yeah, but I mean, this what it's supposed to be. Buckley's supposed to go out there, have an opponent that you've seen before that sounds familiar, and he's supposed to get the win. But that's an ideal world if you're playing the UFC 4 video game.
Yeah, agreed. Man, the chat is popping off. Yeah, I mean, fair enough. People are pointing out that Alicio is on a bad skid right now. I just think he'll present new looks that Joaquin Buckley hasn't dealt with quite as much in the UFC. Plus, Kevin Holland, Zach Cummings, those are not the worst losses. And most importantly, he took each of those guys to unanimous decision. And he was actually en route to winning the Zach Cummings fight until he got brutally knocked down at like 4:59 of round 3 and just wasn't able to capitalize. He was like basically out. But I mean, if Zach can knock him out, you can bet your ass that Joaquin Buckley can. So we'll see. But we got a lot of people in the chat siding with Joaquin Buckley, so it seems to be basically unanimous here.
I mean, that's the popular pick, but at the same time, like, how many times have we seen that, right? Like, the guy's supposed to win, he's supposed to get the overhand knockout, and then something weird happens. So,
man, I'm trying to write and talk at the same time, and I'm truly not able to do it. Like, there are some people who can multitask that way, but my brain does not allow me to spit truth out of this direction and out of these appendages. It's just not working for me. Jack LeMate says hello. Hi, Jack. And I'm sorry.
I'm glad, like, out of all the comments you put on screen, it was like the guy saying hello. Like, I'm sure people were like,
I forgot you could do that on StreamYard.
Somebody was like, I'm gonna put something very smart, and then you have like hello. It's like, really, that made it on the screen and not me.
Jack LeMate. Jack LeMate is asking.
He already asked that.
I know. He's either asking when the fights start in the UK. The fights are on right now. You got to tune in right now. And if you're asking what time it is in the UK, what time is it in the UK?
8. I think it's
8:38 p.m.
right now. Yeah.
All right.
5 hours ahead from my time.
It is currently 8:38 p.m. in the UK, and the fights are currently on. So go check them out. But don't leave the stream. Don't do that. Don't dare.
Checking out wall. Check it out.
I know. Jack LeMade's my favorite. You're welcome. You're welcome, Jack LeMade. He's my. I'm only gonna show Jack LeMade comments the remainder of the show. unless you leave a super chat donation.
I don't think the fights are going to be over before, what is it, 5 p.m. Eastern time? What time is that for you? That's like 2
2
p.m., right?
p.m. Yeah.
Yeah, because I have an interview with Jillian Robertson, but I think she's going to get a text like, hey,
I
you're going to push
I
that back.
just I wrapped up during the prelims a video shoot with Lauren Murphy. Your good
Oh,
friend Lauren
oh,
Murphy,
my good friend.
the number one Lucas Grandsire fan.
Last person to come on the podcast. By the way, I talked to, I would have said it off air, but it's a good thing. So I'll say I talked to Drakkar Close
Cool guy.
this week. And so I asked him, I was like, hey man, I saw your video where you guys were talking about the street fights. And honestly, I thought he was the funniest guy on there. Max was funny, but like Drakkar had me crying. Like he was like, man, you look like me in my last fight. I had to
That was
pause
the
it.
best line.
I was dying, but I told him, I was like, that was really cool. Did you enjoy doing that? And he was like, yeah, I like doing it. Like it was different, stuff like that. So I was like, hey, shout out to Shaq. Like, it's always good when you hear fighters say something nice. Like,
Yeah, well, listen, like you do good work. But I'm better now. You do great work. I personally love doing interviews. I'd like to think that I'm able to get a good interview out of almost everyone. Some people are just, it's impossible. But I don't know. There's just like so many people doing it. And not only do I think it's kind of refreshing for the fighters when you can come up with a different approach, it's refreshing for the audience as well. And honestly, it's refreshing for me. Like do I like being on camera less as a consequence of doing these fighter focused video series? No, but I think like the entire experience overall is more pleasant, and I'd like to think that sort of stuff, if you guys haven't checked out UFC Fighters React to Street Beefs, do so. It is blowing up. Down the line, that will serve as a bigger platform for these watch-alongs to do better, right? For my podcast to do better. So it's all towards a bigger goal ultimately. And guys, I'll let you know now, we got a dope video coming out Monday or Tuesday. It's supposed to be on Tuesday. I might push it to Monday just to give it a chance to really thrive. We have fighters from the UFC, One Championship, Bellator reacting to Conor McGregor's best trash talk. Just in time for UFC 257. It's a good one. You got some people who are smart, who like kind of pick out what he's doing. You got some people. My favorite is I did it with King Mo, who right away said, to be honest, his trash talk is fine. It's mostly the accent. And then I did one with Lorenzo Larkin, who verbatim repeats the exact same thing. So Let me know in the comment section, is Conor McGregor as good as Muhammad Ali at trash talk, or is it just the accent? I'd like to get your opinion.
Trying to stir up the comment section, dear Jesus, but
let's get racist.
Oh no.
No, don't, guys, let's not get racist.
What?
Put it on a shirt. Let's get racist.
Nah, but if that gets pushed correctly, there's no excuse for it not to blow up and be a big thing on Fight Week, because pre-fight stuff does really well, and then Conor pre-fight stuff, I mean, forget about it. Like that should be a gold mine if you can push it correctly.
Yeah, so hopefully we'll do our best to push that, maybe get some help from some of the fighters. Some other guys, if you're new to Fightful, some other cool stuff we got on the channel. We've got former ATT coach and star of Dana White's Looking for a Fight, Dean Thomas, ranking 10 of Dustin Poirier's greatest opponents by tier. Sean Ross Sapp and I did that for Max Holloway. We got fighters reacting to street fights. We got fighters reacting to the best KOs in MMA history. We got a bunch of interesting stuff, so go check it out. Lucas, you and Diego Lima had quite the interesting conversation. Let people know what they can find on your channel.
Man, Diego Lima, you saw that quote, right?
I got it. Can you get me in touch? I want to get him for these reactions. He's a fun guy.
Yeah. Diego Lima's a cool dude. Like, we've been doing interviews for a few years now. He said, what's a fart to a baby that just pooped himself? And like, you can see my face totally change from concentrated to what the fuck did you just say? Like, it's a great quote. But no, you know what? There's so many good things that interview where he talks about he was like bedridden with COVID for 2 weeks. And he was like, I could barely eat. I was craving something specific. And so, I'm thinking like, what, maybe chicken broth? Or he was like, Burger King and Chick-fil-A. I was like, all right, that sounds very healthy coming from an athlete. But he talked about, his surgeries and stuff like that. No, it was really good. It was a really good interview. I know he's not the biggest name, but it's
a good interview.
Sure. Yeah. And Diego Lima, like he's a fun dude. Like, his brother, from what I hear, from Diego, is extremely hard to reach. So, but Diego Lima, very easy to reach, and he's a cool dude. In terms of interviews, I made a comeback. I took a break from November. Like even my website was kind of like, Lucas, we thought you left us. It's like, oh
Yeah,
shit, that's a mistake. No, because I was focusing on the podcast, but I'm back. I talked to Neil Magny, Mike Davis,
you got some good ones, dude.
Miranda Maverick. I released something with Demetrius Johnson. Like a ton of stuff, and I'm on the comeback. I have to. 2021 is the year where I get hired full time, guys. Putting it here live on Fightful.
Yes, guys, please do check out Lucas. Sorry, we'll get to Josh in a second. Let me just put this out there. When I was with Bloody Elbow, interviews were huge for me because I had a big enough platform that I could take guys who may not traditionally get as much traffic and get a good story with traffic, because like there's a lot of interesting fighters out there. You just sometimes need the right interview to bring it out of them. Lucas is on the grind. He doesn't quite have the huge platform to supplement how good his work is. So please go give him a follow, give him a subscribe, because he's doing tremendous work and it deserves more attention.
Damn, Shaq just gonna make me emotional live.
Well, I'm not paying you to do these watch alongs with me, so I got to give you something.
No, he is not, man. Fightful wants me to be part of the team, and they like trying to get
I
me
want
to
you to
be
be
an intern or something like that. Like, Lucas, like you got to bring us coffee and but someday they'll see the value of
Yeah,
the Scottie Pippens
I
or your Michael
stand
Jordan.
all day so that you can one day rub my feet, Lucas. That's the plan.
That is disgusting. You guys listen to Shaq on here trying to hire me as a slave, trying to get people to be racist. Like, hiring me as a slave.
Yeah,
Is
let's
not
not go with that.
correct.
I regret that. Let's not run with the.
I mean, you guys heard it here. Like, I want to see the clip go viral. Like, MMA journalist tells people to be racist. Like,
You
it's
know what?
over.
In a world where all things are equal, I'll let the racism slide, but it's disproportionate. So after that, I want to see equal racism across the board. I want to see everyone affected equally by racism.
So, as an immigrant, Shaq, like, you have to understand the racism I came on here on a boat with a trunk full of dreams. And when I departed on the Mayflower, I had to create a life for myself when I got to the United States. So
Is there
I feel you, Shaq. I understand.
riding on a? It's fine. Okay. Gotta go. Thanks, guys. No worries, Jackalmate. Have fun.
I like how that's the comment
Yeah,
that
that's the
makes it.
guy. That's the guy.
Everybody's like, let me ask a good question. Yeah, guys.
Yeah. But on that note, as Joaquin Buckley and someone start, I must Anik pronouncing his name. If the Diaz brothers fight this year, who do you see them fighting? Well, shout out to Farah Hanoun, working at the time for UFC Arabia. She kind of got Dana White to smile at the idea of Nate Diaz versus Justin Gaethje. That's a terrible matchup. I don't want to see Nate Diaz get beat from pillar to post by Justin Gaethje. He's too good. He's too precise. He's too powerful. It's not going to work. It's not going to work. Nate Diaz, I had the fight for him. Let me check. No, he should fight Tony Ferguson. He should fight Tony Ferguson. Two guys will press forward, will fight, who can take damage, but who seem to be on the downslope of their career. That's the one to do. I don't want to see Nate versus Justin under any circumstance. It either needs to be Nate Diaz versus Tony Ferguson, or it should be Nate Diaz versus Conor McGregor, because that fight will just always be valuable. And to be honest, I don't want to see Nate Diaz versus Charles Oliveira, but I think it'd be more interesting than Nate Diaz versus Justin Gaethje, because Nate's got pretty great submissions, and he's got a lot of volume boxing. At least that poses some interesting questions, but I'm not at all interested in Gaethje versus Diaz. What are your thoughts, Lucas?
Yeah, I like the Conor McGregor matchup. Gaethje doesn't really do a whole lot for me. I think Diaz, you got to put him up in a fun fight. So Tony Ferguson, that's a fun fight. But I mean, the Gaethje one could be interesting. I think you're letting the game bred loss like really, like Diaz.
He got his ass kicked.
Yeah, but Diaz never looks good at welterweight. Like the only time he looked good at welterweight was against a featherweight at the time. So every time he's been at welterweight, he's looked like crap. Like he still has some good wins. Like the Pettis fight was very good and everything. So I don't think he's gonna win that fight, but I wouldn't mind seeing it for sure.
Just a lot of damage, dude. Justin Gaethje is such a scary guy. I don't want to see these guys at the tail ends of their. Not to say that Diaz is washed, but just these guys. Oh, what the heck? Oh my god!
Didn't I tell you some shit like this could happen?
Oh!
Ooh, that is not good.
Oh man, that is the hype train dead in the water.
Yo, it reminded me of the Carlos Condit head kick on GPS a little bit. The way he just kind of landed that weird. Oof. I told you though, fights like this, man, shit like that can happen. People act like, it's easy to build up a prospect. Shit like this happens all
No.
the time. And Buckley, there's going to be a lot of questions about his chin now because people are inevitably going to remember he fought Holland. They're going to look at this fight. So,
Dang. Who saw that coming? Who saw it coming in that way this early?
Yeah.
First round KO.
Yeah,
This is what happens though. You can almost never live up to the hype of a knockout like that.
Well, I mean, the UFC was doing the right thing. Like his last fight.
No, they built him up well. They built him up well.
Yeah, no, they were doing good, but this fight, like, obviously, like, people are gonna remember you being flatlined like that, like, and then look at DC going crazy.
I love the reactions. So this is my favorite part.
And Daniel Cormier, he's that dude. Like, he's not scared to say nothing because like, if you wanted to see him in the back, he wouldn't be scared of you. So he doesn't care.
Facts.
Because you'd be like, man, I heard you were talking shit. Yeah, what are you gonna do about it? Nothing. Yeah, my stream wasn't live. Like I hear and then all they're doing is filling each other out, and then 2 seconds later, I see a Shin go flying to the dome. I was like, damn.
Are you delayed on yours?
Well, I'm on. Let me see. What do you have on yours? Like, are you at a commercial? Like, do you get commercials where you are watching?
No. I got a direct feed, so I'm on IBC. I'm through ESPN Plus, so I'm on Joaquin Buckley just standing against a cage.
I'm on a commercial break. Here, send me your Canadian legal app link.
I can't. I'm watching it legally.
No, definitely. And I'll use my Canadian VPN to watch it along. That way I'll make sure I'm live.
I don't think that's how it works.
It's like, Shaq. It's like, get your head out of your ass and understand what I'm saying.
Let's move on from this conversation. All right, let's go back to the chat. Oh, here, you got a shout out. Preach, Lucas, preach. In my mind, Alicia wanted to make a statement with 3 losses in a row, even though they're against good names.
I mean, you can want to make a statement, but wait, what do you see on your screen right now? Is it a crying Italian guy getting his hand raised?
I sent just about.
Okay, all right. Well, let me look up my other method and make sure it works.
Wow, that's awesome. What a big win for him.
I mean, you can't help but feel kind of bad for Buckley, though, because, I mean, he didn't ask for any of it, right?
No,
I mean?
Well, it just happened.
I mean, I saw the big thing. People are calling him a douchebag and stuff. And, I mean, at the end of the day, it's all going to be hearsay. But I don't know, man. That one, that's going to be pretty
you don't know.
Well, and I've never talked to him either. I have – let me think. I did talk to James Krause about it, but, I haven't talked to Buckley before. So I don't know what he is like outside of that kind of thing. But
all right. Hey, Lucas, I really need to get like a story up real quick. So I'm going to let you take over, talk to people in the chat, tell stories, but like I'm not able to process 2 things at once right now.
Okay, let me ask you this. Is the Cherico kissing his coach right now?
The coach is currently carrying him around. And now they're hugging. And now he is walking out of the cage.
All
and
right,
then he
so
got stopped on his way.
Okay, I guess I'm early. So yeah, all right, figured it out. Hulu getting its stuff back together.
So. All right, so I'm gonna let you take over, okay? For like 10 minutes.
All right, Lucas Grandsire live chat. I'm gonna do my best Luke Thomas impression.
In fact, just to really make this official, I am.
Oh man, Shaq just disappeared. That is a lot of pressure. Hey, get this.
And you're also gonna get my name on it.
All right, I'm waiting for him to get the line away from my face, and then oh, I'm Shaq. Look at me, I'm Shaq. No, this is a lot of pressure, man. This guy just left me. I've been up since 3:30 a.m. to go work and stuff. But yeah, I guess I'll carry the live stream for Fightful. I mean, I'm gonna chill out for my own work though. If you guys could do me a huge favor, subscribe to me on YouTube, that would be great. It's just Lucas Grandsire, a bunch of cool content. Have to throw that out there because I'm trying to get to 400. Anyways, man, Buckley, I don't know where Buckley goes from here following a KO like that, because that it's devastating. I mean, you heard Shaq when he saw it live, just kind of screaming like a girl like that. Like that, I have no idea where Buckley goes from there. I really feel like the hype train is. I don't want to say it's completely done, but it's kind of like in the movie where you see it start slowing down, and then it's about to hit your main character, and then you know it's going to stop. So I don't know where Buckley goes from there. I'm definitely worried for him, and I kind of feel like everybody's going to let him go after that one because people forgot about the fight with Holland, but now inevitably we're going to see a bunch of Holland highlights this one. So I mean, you can't help but feel bad for the guy too because you're trying to build up your career like everybody else. You get the highlight reel. He didn't ask for any of it. He's just minding his own business. So yeah, I'm worried about Buckley now and what happens. I'm afraid everybody's just kind of going to drop him, but putting it here, I've tried to reach out for an interview before. I will continue to try to reach out. It probably won't happen, but I don't want to hear anything about, the media gave up on me. Like, I'm still here. Kevin, you asking, well, I hope I'm saying that right. Look, listen to me trying to be all confident with people's names. Where does Buckley go from here? I think he's going to be one of those main card fighters that you recognize from a viral KO, but I'm afraid it's going to be one of those sort of like Edson Barboza at one point in his career where you saw him on a card and you recognized him as the wheel kick guy, but he wasn't really doing a whole lot with his career. You know what I mean? I'm afraid might be a fringe contender, might be kind of a fun name that you recognize on the card, and yeah, it's gonna be interesting to see what they do with him. But yeah, I'm seeing some people say they were glad Buckley's hype train was it's over. It's weird, right? Because the big thing I saw on Reddit is everybody's calling him a douchebag, a closeted douchebag. I don't know if that's real. I've never talked to him, but James Krause did a number on his reputation, right? We saw him do an interview, and with me too. Like it's my fault, but he was doing interviews everywhere, trashing him. So I mean, I don't know. I feel like Buckley had a lot of disadvantages, and this one, I feel like if people are already on the fence on if they liked them, you lose devastatingly like that, and the hype train comes to an end. All right, I'm seeing someone talk about Li Jing Liang. Oh, you know what? Before we move on though, I saw someone mention James Krause as his next opponent. I like it, but I feel like the hype kind of ended for that, right? Like you lose like that. I mean, at the same time, it makes sense because now you're not trying to build up Buckley anymore. Because I bet you people are going to give up on him. So I don't know, man. I'd like to see it, but I'm really not sure if it carries the same weight. Because look, before it was like he was the highlight reel guy. He's on this big streak. Now it's like now that he lost, how many times have we seen a big loss like that ruin a career? So I don't know. I'm rooting for him to get back on track though. Like, he didn't. I mean, he didn't ask for any of it. He just goes out there, gets a big KO, and all of a sudden, people are rushing him for stuff. Like, let's see what happened. All right, listen, Li Jing Liang. Who I'm pretty sure that's how you say it, but I'm not 100% confident. Against Santiago Ponzinibbio. I think this one could go to a decision. I mean, I'd love to be wrong. Trust me, I would love to be wrong. I love a knockout as much as everyone, but very long layoff for Ponzi scheme, and then Li Jing Liang has some pop in his hands. But I mean, we've seen Ponzi get knocked out before. Everybody forgets he got knocked out against Lawrence Larkin a few years ago. So I'm excited for that fight. Great matchup, two heavy hitters. I feel like this could go to a decision with people. You've got two guys like that, and they're both going to be a big filling out process, a big respect for the power. So my official pick for this one, I had a Ponzi scheme. I think his boxing is just so good. I don't think he's gonna knock out Lee, but I'm excited for him. I feel like if he can sort of get rid of that ring rust, which is gonna be a big if with all the health issues, we could see something exciting. Man, how long have I been talking? It feels like forever. If Shaq could come back, and I know he's seeing this, so hopefully Shaq hears my cries for help as I carry the Fightful live stream. All right, listen. While I'm here though, I am wearing gear from the man James Lynch. Let me see. So, buy his shirts, support good people in the industry. I would make shirts, but I'd be the only one buying them. So that wouldn't really make much sense. So, yeah, there's that. Follow me on Twitter at Grand Siren MMA, Instagram as well. Let me see. What insight can I add to this fight? I talked to Ponzi, right? it is hard, Joseph, to talk about myself. I'm glad somebody appreciates that. I did talk to Santiago at some point, during the summer because he was doing this big media tour that his management was setting up. So I got to talk to him a little bit about, why he's been out. And, I don't want to shield for myself, but I've been told by many people that my interview was the one where we got the most insight on what happened. And I do have Twitch. Somebody mentioned Twitch. I do have Twitch. I have a whole 3 followers, so follow that too. Yeah, so Ponzinibbio. So I asked him, I was like, man, what's been keeping you out for 2 years? This guy goes on a literally 10 minutes. It was so long. Like I took my video off the screen because he was talking so much. 10 minutes, and he goes through everything that happened with his health. Like he had bacteria, staph infection. I mean, so much. It was way too much. Like, I'm listening to it thinking, holy shit, I didn't even know what to say when he was done. But if you check out the interview on my YouTube channel, he does talk in detail, 10 whole minutes uninterrupted about everything that happened. So when you hear that, it does get tough when you hear that he's coming back and you're like, how's he going to look? And my big question for these athletes is how is your body physically? For years you're in the gym and you're staying muscular, staying in shape, and all of a sudden you're not training. You're bedridden, you're sick. So my question is, how are these guys going to look when they come back? You know what I mean? Even physically, is his body going to be the same? Is he going to feel the same? So I feel like we could see the kind of situation where he doesn't look good for maybe the first round, and then the second round we start to see him picking up. And if I'm wrong and we get a highlight reel KO, then you can forget everything. Let's see. I'm seeing a commercial for Muhammad Ali and some white guy who I'm sure is very famous, but not of my generation. Yeah, UFC stalling. You know what? I'm stalling too. You know what? That makes two of us. I guess everybody. Oh yeah, somebody mentioned Robbie Lawler versus Ponzi. I did talk to him about that too. I guess the health stuff. No, you know what? Wasn't the health stuff. The UFC announced that I think he was supposed to fight Robbie, and Ponzi was like, "No, I'm not. What are you talking about?" So that fight was supposed to happen. And Ponzi scheme was a little bit confused because he was like, that fight was never supposed to happen. So there you go. Let me see my official picks. Man, I'm running out of stuff here. Shaq must see me running out of steam and doesn't feel like jumping in at any moment.
Are you?
Shit.
Are you running out of things to talk about?
Oh, I don't know how Luke Thomas sits down to do such a long line. Like I get he has questions, but good lord, like how?
Yeah, my mouth gets tired.
Well, or even your brain, you're like, am I rambling? Am I saying words that make sense? Like when people hear my words, are they like,
Yes.
yes? Like, oh man, it's even with a podcast. Sometimes I talk and I'm like, should I stop talking? Like, am I saying words in the right language that make sense to people? It's
Yeah,
crazy.
I know. Well, the thing with Luke Thomas is people are interested in what he has to say.
Wow.
Oh, apparently, yeah. I picked a great time to step out because basically the show's on commercial break right now. Yeah. So if anyone's curious, basically, unfortunately, someone had to step out of live coverage at the last minute, and so I'm trying to do this watch along. I'm trying to write stories, and I'm trying to update the results on Twitter all at the same time, and I am failing miserably. So
You know what? This would never happen if Fightful cleared up some cap space and signed your boy. That's all I'm saying. Like, you know what I mean? You got the best, not free agent, but like
Lucas,
contract.
you're starting to sound a little desperate. It's not a good
No,
look on you.
I'm just
It's not a
saying.
good look on you,
I'm
Lucas.
just saying. You got Carmelo Anthony chilling, staying warm in the gym, and people are like, "Oh, I'm not sure if he's the Carmelo of old." Like,
Yeah, that's funny.
I'm just saying, man. Now I don't know if Carmelo's a good example because Carmelo's a veteran. Me, I'm like the rookie. I'm like the Markelle Fultz. There you go. I was injured, but you saw the potential in there, a little sprinkle of something. So maybe we bring Markelle in.
Guys, this is possibly the fight I'm actually most excited about, aside from like how much of a banger Max Holloway Calvin Kattar is going to be, just because, man, Santiago Ponzinibbio along with Vicente Luque are probably my two favorite potential next UFC stars. I really like both these guys. They're all action. They can finish it all over the place. They always bring it. I want to see Santiago Ponzinibbio and Vicente Luque fight just about everyone except one another.
Now I want to see that fight, Shaq. I want Ponzi scheme versus the second nicest motherfucker in the division. Like that's all I want now, Shaq, and it's your fault.
Colby wants everyone to know that I'm not talking about Colby when I said someone left live coverage. Don't worry, Colby. I'm not talking about you.
It is important because the first thing I was thinking is, damn it, Colby, there he goes again.
There he goes again. Colby's always messing everything up, guys. Now Colby does a great job. He holds us down, and it is because of the hard work of people like him that I am able to take a vacation. Actually, this is worth noting. It's not finalized, but it's looking like I'm probably going to go on a little bit of a break. It will not affect the video release schedule. We'll still have... So actually, let me start by saying, guys, if you're a regular Fightful viewer, as we sort of fine-tune what our release schedule is, generally this is what it's going to look like. Sunday, you're going to have your fight predictions for the coming event, the next week's event, although we're going to phase those out eventually. Tuesdays and Thursdays, you're going to get original video content. This is our UFC Fighter Reacts. These are our tier lists. These are our Storytime series, stuff like that. So Sundays, fight picks. Tuesdays and Thursdays, original video content. Fridays will be 1-2 Punch podcast. Saturdays will be a watch along. So you're looking at a 5-day-a-week schedule of releases, plus some social media stuff here and there as it pops up on weeks so we don't have fights. Obviously, that's going to go down to 3, but that's pretty rare for the UFC, unfortunately for me. We will have a 1-2 Punch ahead of UFC 257. After that, there will be a 1-week hiatus on 1-2 Punch. I might put together a best of clips, but that'll just be 1 week. We'll be right back at it. I'll just be the Lucas Grandsire show. Otherwise, the only other programming note is we will not have a watch along for UFC Fight Island 8 on Wednesday. I have to work my other job at that time, so that ain't gonna happen.
That's my day off too, Shaq. Like, I go the extra effort of working more than 10 hours to come on here, and on my day off, you can't even do a watch along. I'll be the Fightful watch along.
I don't have I don't know. I don't know. No, I don't have a day off on Wednesday. I just have another job.
No, but see, I could do the watch along, but it'd be 3 minutes of me rambling and then me panicking because we're on our 16th commercial in a row, and I don't really know what to say at that point. It's like, oh,
thank
God,
goodness.
You need a co-host.
Is there an individual with a stranger-looking face than Li Jingliang? And that is not racist.
Okay, Brian Campbell. Like, it's not racist.
No. We're not going there. No. I'm not going there.
Until you say something weird like that, and you make people think like, oh, wait, could it be racist? Like, don't,
Listen, I just don't think he's a handsome guy. I'm sorry. I just don't think Li Jingliang is a handsome guy.
Oh, controversial Shaq today. I'm the one who's sleep deprived.
Hey, I've got
shit like that, not you. But
I live in Vancouver. It's a multicultural city, and I have beautiful looking friends and acquaintances that are Chinese, that are black, that are Iranian. I'm not helping my case, am I?
Like
let me say this: as an Iranian person, there's some butt ugly Iranian men and women out there.
Listen, you sound like every celebrity. Like, I'm not racist. My cousin.
But yeah, there's no such thing as I'm not racist, but that isn't racist. But you know what, Lucas, Mr. Majority here, you can't be coming on here on my show of all things, letting me as a minority know that I'm not allowed to say certain things. That's your white privilege. All over the place.
I have a portion of white privilege. Like, I don't have like the full. I have a good.
Stop. I'm trying to save you. Stop. I led you down a road of no return, and I'm gonna pull you out.
As soon as people see my green card, there goes like a good chunk of the privileges right there. Because
I'm gonna move this on before I get fired, and you never get another shot. Caleb says, Shaq, I know it was absolutely my fault. Shaq, you ever meet the cast of Riverdale or Sabrina? They film in Vancouver. Fun fact: my friend used to date one of the male cast members from Riverdale. So yes, not only it is a girl, and so I have met one cast member because they actually came to a fundraiser I was hosting for a relief trip to South Africa that I was doing. So there we go.
And look at this comment. He said that haircut takes all of Lucas's white privilege away. Fun fact, this is from obviously it's grown too long, but my barber, he is the best. Like, when I got back to the United States, my barber in France was like, you have to go to like a black barber shop. And you know what? She did not steer me wrong. That man, it's my fault for getting scruffy, but when he is on, he is on. I cut myself in my hairline the other day. Like, shout out to my guy Rock, since talking about the haircuts. It says the fight is starting. Are you seeing Li Jingliang?
Yes, Li Jingliang is chilling in the cage. John Anik is just throwing to the graphic comparing the two guys.
Okay. I'm like a second behind, but so I told the people, I don't know if you're listening or not. I felt like maybe
I
the
wasn't.
first round was gonna be. Wow. I mean, just pretend. I do that. All fighters like, I don't know if you remember the round, and I'm like, yeah, for sure, and I have no idea. No, but listen, I said I think he would start a little slow in the first because, dude, 2 years off and your body probably changed and everything. So I feel like the first round is probably going to go for the leech, which obviously if the leech gets starched, then, I look like an idiot. But I feel like he'd be slow in the first, and then we'd see things start to ramp up in the second round. So let's see if, your boy, well, not Eric Anders, me, is right or not.
Yeah. That's crazy that Joaquin Buckley just got KO'd, head kick KO'd by a guy in a 3-fight losing streak.
You know what? I feel like we've seen muscly guys with a lot of power have, I don't want to say a suspect chin, but have a tendency of getting knocked out. I don't know if it's the fight style or what it is, but I feel like we've seen that many times before. Have you ever been on the subreddit? I think it's called like Natty or Natural or Natty or Not or something like that.
Nope.
Man, Buckley has made his way onto that subreddit, and everyone was like talking about his pecs. Like there's like an entire comment section dissecting his pecs and whether or not he's natty.
I'll tell you this: my girlfriend does not like fights, but she is definitely a fan of Tyron Woodley's booty. So, what you gonna do? What you gonna do? He's got that badonkadonk,
What killed me was I didn't watch OSP fight against Ben Rothwell, but when I got on Twitter, I don't think I've ever seen so many peach emojis in my life.
That's funny.
Like I was dying. I was like, good Lord, people. Like they were fighting, but at the same time, it sounded like that may have been the most interesting thing in the fight. All right, the filling out process, that's normal. You've been out for 2 years. Both guys have a lot of power. I mean, we're going to see that. Dude, Lee is like so stiff in the way he moves. Like, doesn't he look like, something's holding him back? And then he's just got that.
Li Jingliang is so. Luke Thomas made a really good point on Morning Combat, which was every time I think Li Jingliang is going to lose a fight, he wins. And every time I think I've learned my lesson, he loses. It's actually, I think, a very appropriate challenge for Santiago Ponzinibbio.
Yeah.
Because it's a guy who's actually a relative threat, but has enough defensive holes that if Ponzinibbio is still as good as he should be, that he'll overcome it after sort of like a warming up, recalibrating period in the octagon.
Exactly. And he's a fun fighter too. He's got that pop in his hands, which we just saw with that left hook. Like he's a very fun fighter. There's everything to like about his style, but he's the kind of guy, if you could have put it all together, you could put on an interesting run. But like you mentioned, he's got holes in his game.
Yes, for sure. All right, give me one moment. I really hope that.
Have you played the UFC video game recently or any of them?
I played a ton. I used to play a ton of all of them, especially back in the THQ days. I played quite a bit of UFC 3. Honestly, UFC 4 almost if it wasn't a step back, it was a definite step sideways, and I just wasn't feeling it. I actually got it for free. Shout out to the UFC EA for hooking me up, but
oh shit,
it wasn't doing it for me.
Well, they did my man Ponzi scheme dirty because if you look, they gave him a mohawk and then they gave him a bald spot right in the back of the mohawk.
Oh, that's nice.
Some of these video games, bro, even 2K, like if you're losing your hair even a little bit, 2K is gonna put it on there. Like some of these video games are crazy, man. Like I would have been so proud. I would have hit up EA like, hey, like I did not comb this over for you to just give me a bald spot in the video game.
Facts.
Like, come on.
Right.
Would you say Li Jingliang has that fuck you knockout power?
Close. He definitely has a ton of knockout power, and I think it's one of those things that sort of makes up for some of his technical inadequacies. And I'm saying this as someone with like no understanding of.
You sound like the biggest Lee hater. Like this man called him.
No. He's ugly, but
the holes in his game. Like say one good thing about Li Jingliang that has nothing to do with his power.
He is a fun, all-action fighter. He's got a great nickname, and I am personally a fan of the ankle wraps. There you go.
Wow,
There's 3.
man, this is like the equivalent of, I like
Also,
your
his
shoes.
name's got a great ring to it. Li Jing Liang. Like that is,
Doesn't it
ooh.
though?
I think he's got no offense. I think he's got an ugly face, but I speak from experience. But he's got a pretty name, man. Li the Leech Jing Liang. Like I'm all for that alliteration. I'm all for that assonance. I'm all for that consonance. I'm all in.
Isn't it strange that like, it feels like the women like in China, like women's MMA is starting to produce some really big like names and champions
Mhm.
even and stuff like that. But it feels like the men's is not quite there yet.
It's gonna be. It's gonna be. The UFC was smart to put a performance
Yeah.
institute in a country with such an enormous population.
Yeah.
Every year you got right, like 2020, 2019 was huge for New Zealand and Australia. Obviously, they carried that in 2020. 2020 was big for Georgian fighters.
Yeah.
The Chinese, their time is coming without a doubt.
What the Georgian fighters, I feel like that Georgian journalist who every post he finds a way to make it about Georgian fighters.
Georgie, yeah, Georgie,
Yeah,
I love that guy.
which makes sense too. But it feels like Georgian fighters. It's him.
Oh no! Oh no! I am so bummed.
Yo,
I
wow.
am so bummed.
He went down the same way Buckley did. Wow. I mean, we were talking about does he have fuck you KO power? A little, right? That was pretty good.
Li Jing Liang, I take back anything bad I ever said about you.
So you were right about the learning your lesson. I picked Santiago, and sure enough, like, man, these are real knockouts. These aren't like, getting on top of someone, pitter pattering the punches.
They're
like,
making up for that. They're making up for that prelim. God, that sucks, man. We're talking about a guy who was en route to being a legitimate title challenger.
Yeah, but that's the fight game, man. Like you're either there to eat or get eaten.
I know, but it just sucks that he got such a bad staph infection.
Yeah, oh, for sure. Look at how clean that punch was, too. Chin was right there to get caught. Boom. I feel like we've seen so many knockouts like that where you miss your punch and the chin is right there.
Yeah. All right. I'm gonna let you take the lead again.
Oh God, come on.
I'll stay on the air though. I'll stay on the air, but you got to fill up this dead air for me.
Say don't do me like that. Hold on, I need to get a better stream because that was behind and that's enough. Like Hulu, like I pay for you. I feel like I should be more live than I currently am.
All right. Well,
all right. Once I get past the singles that are in my area, I should be able to.
I don't know what Lucas is up to, and I don't condone it. So I know.
There you go.
You know what's super weird? So we do the story time series, right, where we get fighters just like tell interesting stories, street fights, celebrity encounters, all that sort of stuff. The first time I uploaded one, I admittedly made it really clickbaity. I just said UFC fighters street fights.
Oh yeah,
dude, nothing but likes, 100% like ratio. Right. Second one I put out, I put in because I didn't want to mess with like the title when the video was doing decent traffic. Second one, I put in there story time. Tons of dislikes. I'm like, guys, I'm being honest with you.
Man, I did the podcast with Lauren Murphy. That woman gets so much hate. Like
I like Lauren. Lauren.
So many like negatives just because it's Lauren Murphy.
So Lauren Murphy, I asked her a question about like violence in video games, and she said her response is, you know what, there's probably studies on it, and there's probably people more qualified than I to answer that question. And I'm like, Lauren, in the martial arts community, that is the most refreshing and truthful answer I've ever heard. Like, look, I love some of the fighters I talk to. I love some of the coaches I've had in the past. Bro, when I go and train, I do not want to hear your opinion on modern medicine. I don't want to hear your opinion on the ongoing pandemic. I'm here to train. The way I trust you to take care of my martial arts progress is the same way I trust doctors to take care of my health. Now, obviously, there's plenty of stories about doctors getting a diagnosis wrong or something, but in their defense, it's mostly a guesstimation. And you only hear the bad stories, right? Like, you don't hear about the 99.9% of the times they gave you some Advil and you were fine.
Hey, Gina Carano, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to help you the way you help me. Maybe we steer wigs. I feel like we're about to answer conspiracy.
No. I'm doing the exact opposite. I'm saying the loud ones are the ones. The outliers are the things people remember. They don't remember the 99,000 times out of 10,000 out of 100,000 that a doctor gets it right. So, fighters, please stick to fight stuff. You can have an opinion, but don't be out here pushing stuff.
You're never gonna book an interview ever. Every fighter's gonna be like, "Oh, stick to our opinion, right? Right, Shaquille? Like, all right, okay. You want my opinion on the street fight? Well, no. How about that?
You can have an opinion. I'm just saying, please go to accurate sources for your information."
Man, that was a nasty knock. I mean, but it's one of those knockouts. Like, it's so like aesthetically pleasing. I know not for you because you saw Santiago, but it's like it was so clean.
Yes.
Like,
no, I get. Yeah, someone who's very aesthetically pleasing. I agree.
Do we have any comments on this next fight? Did you see somebody on Reddit put like Carlos Condit's last 2 fights came against guys that died and came back? You know, Matt Brown and Court McGee. I guess they both died of heroin overdoses. Or
oh, well, that's weird. But yes, I see what you mean.
People find some. I mean, that stat is interesting. You know, I mean, some people they'll find stats like, you know, he fought, 3 times on a year where like a gorilla died, and it's like that's how is that interesting? But that's an interesting fact.
That's actually a very interesting fact.
But there's an interesting question in the chat. Can you put it up, please, by Joseph Boza?
This one?
Yeah, because that's a good question. Is it that Lee was good enough to get the knockout, or do you feel like Santiago got it, or just wasn't good because he's been out for it? Well, I mean, you know what I'm saying.
I'd go 51. Okay, that fight did not show me that Li Jingliang has fixed as many holes as necessary, but I think it accentuated the things he's good at, considering Ponzinibbio's time away from the cage. So Li Jingliang showed he's still really good at the things he's really good at. I don't know what it means beyond that.
I mean, you know what? Santiago, like, he got knocked out against Lawrence Larkin. Like, knocking him out has been done before, but
Lawrence Larkin is a phenomenal striker.
This guy says that because he just interviewed him, trying to get those Larkin points. Like, nah, but he is a great striker, though. I mean, the clinic he put on Neil Magny, like, holy crap. And then he just, he's got all this momentum, and he leaves for Bellator. It was, I don't know. I feel like he kind of, he was meant for bigger things than what he ended up doing after that win.
Lorenz had a ton of potential, yes. I completely agree with that.
But, man, he gave me one of the worst answers I've ever gotten in an interview. I was like, I wanted to talk about him going to Bellator. So I was like, are you still happy with your decision to go to Bellator? And he goes, yeah.
So funny. Yeah, I can tell you that Lawrence Larkin does not like talking about UFC. I straight up asked him, like, because we got him to do the Conor trash talk. And I'm like, hey, like, we kind of want to tie a bunch of guys into the hype train for 257. He's like, yeah, I'm down. I just don't want to talk about UFC. I'm like,
oh, that makes, because I know he's done stuff like that before. Like he's doing an interview with MMA Junkie, and before it started, like the interview guy told him like, hey, no questions about Paul Daly. So I know he's a guy, like, there's certain subjects he doesn't want to talk about.
I mean, that's fair. Listen, these guys do so many interviews, and
yeah, hold on. Like, you're doing this interview to promote your fight with Paul Daly. You're not doing it because.
Oh, was this what happened? Was this during a Paul Daly fight?
No, this was in the lead up to the Paul Daly fight. So you're doing pre-fight media for the fight by Bellator, and you tell, I don't want to talk about Paul Daly. Like, my guy, like, I don't want to know what you had for breakfast. Like, I want to know why you don't want to talk about this guy. But
that's pretty funny, actually. Yeah, that seems a little strange.
I mean, could you imagine the interview has, like, let's say he's got like 15 questions, and now he's down to 5, and one of them is like, how you doing? Like, you just took away all, especially MMA Junkie. They asked like the normal pre-fight questions. You just took away more than half of his questions by saying, don't talk about my opponent. Like, you just completely messed with their thing.
Shout out to John Morgan. Funny enough, someone in the comment section was actually asking me today about like, why is it John Morgan always gets the first questions?
I mean, do you know?
Yeah, I mean, I've been around John a few times. I think I've actually talked to, I've asked the same question to other people in the industry. My gauge is 2. 1, seniority. He's just been doing it for so long. And then 2, while John is more than capable of asking really great, interesting questions, and he often does, he's also really good at, and very, like, you can really trust him to, warm up the subject by just getting some of the more pertinent, obvious questions out of the way, right? So he does a super good job of like warming people up by asking them questions that are easy to answer, questions that are going to get headlines, and questions that we all need as general information, even if they're not like the most unique. So John is excellent at setting people up, and as a reward for his seniority and his and how good of a job that he does being an icebreaker, he also gets to, kind of get first crack at some of the more interesting questions too. So shout out to John Morgan.
That's pretty much what it is, just seniority, and it's become tradition and stuff like that. But he's at every single event. You know what I mean? Like, you wouldn't find anybody that's at every single event. So some people are mad about it, but it's like, what first question would you no, but
and that's the thing.
Some people are mad about it, but it's like, what are you gonna ask?
That's the thing. You don't want to come up, like, you don't want to have a fighter sit down and your first question being like, so tell me about the death of your grandmother 4 weeks ago. Like, you kind of want to ease people into that, and John, you can really trust to not derail an interview right off the bat. Because listen, some people in that press row don't go to a lot of events and ask some weird questions, right? Like Kevin, you said, and like you said, he's always there and he's reliable. John is going to do a really good job and like set a tone that everyone else can then kind of follow. And also, it sucks when, like, if he doesn't do it, you're going to have 18 other people and press fighting for the microphone to ask the same questions that he was just about to ask. So you let him get it out of the way in a very like concise manner, and then you open up the floor to whatever sort of more unique out of their questions there are that would have gone flooded otherwise.
Well, I mean, like you mentioned, he's reliable too. Like, if you leave it to just anybody, we know that the media is not always reliable at some of these events. Like, you got dudes that work for like newspapers and stuff who, only do it because somebody was like, hey man, you're going to Detroit this weekend and you're going to be, covering the fights. And then they might ask some weird shit. Like, they might ask, a fighter who isn't Robbie Lawler how it feels to become so we could have some weird stuff. But with John, it's like, listen, he's going to ask you, how does it feel? To this, to that, like, it's going to be, it's a good question, and it's going to get clicks and stuff. So, all reliable.
Yes. Shout out to John Morgan.
All right, I'm seeing some stuff on Twitter about Poirier versus Conor McGregor. What's your early pick? Like, off the top of your head, gut instinct, like
Dustin Poirier. Dustin Poirier.
Really?
Yeah.
Why? Like, what's
because I am not a good enough fight analyzer to give you a strategic breakdown of the fight. So I generally go off of experience and what's the other word I'm looking for? I'm starting to get tired. Consistency. And so while I believe that Conor McGregor is still a world champion level fighter, I have more information like at the surface to extrapolate from Dustin Poirier, which is he has grown tremendously since that first fight. Not that Conor hasn't, but I don't believe the gap is quite the same as it was the first time. Plus, Dustin's just been more active, so I'm gonna go off of that because I don't have much other to go off of. But I wouldn't be mad if you picked either way.
Well, don't be mad. I'm picking Conor, man. Like, I feel like to beat Conor, you know what it is. Like, you got to have really good hands, and then you got to have a better ground game than him, which, to be fair, isn't that much harder. But you have to, like, look at Khabib, look at Nate Diaz. Hands were solid. I mean, Khabib's hands are solid because he's confident in his ground game. You know what I mean? Like, everybody acts like the overhand was like this amazing technique. Like, he caught Conor, and part of that is because mentally he keeps thinking about the wrestling. But anyways, I feel like you have to go with Conor McGregor. Like, even last time it was like, maybe Cowboy can. No, Cowboy did nothing. I mean, literally, I'm pretty sure he recorded 0 strikes. So yeah, he did nothing. But I don't know, man. I feel like we've counted him out enough that I feel like more
I haven't been counting him out. No.
Well, I counted him out against Eddie Alvarez because I felt like Alvarez had the kind of solid hands with a good wrestling that he would do something, and I did not realize he was going to get starched the way he got starched.
Bro, there was nothing more uncomfortable than talking to Eddie Alvarez and then be like, oh, hey, you're like the second fighter who I have on my wall there. And then he has to be like, yeah, I'm not really a fan of that fight. I'm like, oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. I got some shit in the comment section. One guy's like, bro, like, how are you going to ask Eddie about that fight? I'm like,
Well,
Look,
I
the
mean,
poster's behind me. He knows it's there. Are we just not gonna address the elephant in the room?
well, you have to get a sense of the
And
fighter
I
too.
told him
Like,
if he doesn't want to, and I told him right off the bat, I'm like, if you're not interested in broaching this, we really don't have to. And he, to his credit, was very willing to talk about it.
Eddie Alvarez, I talked to him once, and it was set up through One Championship at a media day. So I got him early in the morning, actually before I went to work. So it was back when I was in France. And he was trying to get Skype to work, and he was having trouble. And I get Skype to work, and I hear him go talking to the PR person. He's like, "Hey, I'm gonna give him one more shot, and I'm leaving. I'm not staying. I'm not gonna stay for this guy. He's got one more shot." And I'm sitting there like, "Eddie, this you? You don't know how to use Skype?" Like, he had the PR person working it. And then finally, everything starts working. And I'm like, "Oh, hey, Eddie. Oh, hey, man." It's like, I could hear you.
He turned it
I
on.
didn't I didn't tell him that, but no, it was a good interview, but the connection was crap. I don't know if I forgot where the fight was, like Malaysia or something.
Yeah,
But
probably.
first time I talked to Eddie though, and that was a cool experience. Like I got some cool stuff through One Championship.
Yeah. Shout out to One Championship. They do a good job of getting people. There's a video that I pitched to One Championship, but I didn't hear back out of follow up. I got a banger of a video idea for Eddie Alvarez. I'm not even gonna say it because I don't want anyone ripping it off me.
Did you reach out to, like, did you set up Brandon Vera for your reaction stuff through them? Like, is that who you
Yes.
talked to about it? Because Brandon Vera, like, he's such a good, like, the first time I talked to him,
He's a
like,
great interview.
I thought we were gonna do 10 minutes. 30 minutes later, he's still talking to me, and I was like, shit, like he's a really good interviewer. He was good on Food Truck Diaries too. Like
Yeah.
Brandon Vera, like I'd love to have him on the podcast at some point, but he's a really good interviewer, really good talker.
Yeah, well, I messaged him, and if you try and message him personally, he will respond. He'll text you, no questions asked, but he will say go through one to do it. So,
well, he
he's
hooked
pretty
me up
insistent
with
about it.
One Championships PR, and I was like, hey, thanks for hooking me up, and he was like, yeah, please use them and stuff like that. And he was the guy
Brandon's definitely, he's like involved. I don't know how, but he's involved in like the corporate level of One Championship. So he's a good guy to connect to for that kind of stuff. And
somebody asked the soccer question. Do you follow soccer, Shaq?
No.
I'll answer. I'm a man of the people, Shaq. Give me the Wayne Rooney question.
Wayne Rooney. Never.
There we go. Thoughts on Wayne Rooney retirement? I tell you what, man. Honestly, I thought that guy was retired. I saw retirement. I was like, is he not retired yet? But listen, I'm disappointed he didn't finish his career with DC United. I felt like Wayne Rooney was having fun in the MLS and doing well. When he went back to England, I believe it's with Derby County. I don't know. I was kind of disappointed. I feel like we were having fun in DC. Like, how many times did we see the highlight with the slide tackle with the pass and then the goal into the empty net? Like, I was disappointed he left DC United. I feel like that was fun, even though DC United is not a fun team. But in terms of his career, though, since want to go into it a little bit, I'm kind of disappointed he didn't do more on the international scene. You know what I mean? Like, I think he didn't get his first World Cup goal until like 2014. And they were eliminated in the group stage. So I feel like Wayne Rooney, I would have liked to have seen more in his England career. But we did see, some good stuff at club level, especially with Manchester United. And that what was it, that kick against Manchester City we saw a million times on every promo. But good career. Felt he could have stayed at DC United longer, and kind of disappointed with his England career. At the same time, I'm not English, so it doesn't bother me too much. There we go, Shaq. Thoughts on Wayne Rooney? What do you have to add, Shaq, about the great Wayne Rooney?
I have a friend named Rooney.
Okay. He also got a hair transplant. Wayne Rooney shot, fun. That was when I was following along in 2012, and he scores a goal, and everybody was talking about his hairline, and he makes a celebration like Rogaine, like he was like acknowledging it. So
that's pretty funny.
Well,
shout out to
Nick Cage, right? Like he all of a sudden has a hairline.
That's weird you say that. I was watching a movie with Nick Cage last night.
That's high praise, or however he says it. Nick Cage, he's the worst.
No. I'm going to dispute you there. I'm going to dispute you there.
Go on a rant about national.
I am about to go on. No, not National Treasure. I actually watched a video that was very telling. So, if your idea of good acting is like sort of like the modern nuanced approach, like trying to be hyper realistic, Nick Cage is a terrible actor. But a lot of what Nick Cage does is sort of like a throwback to like early 19th century, or sorry, early 1900s film, which was without sound. So it's very theatrical. You have to be overly expressive with your body language because there's no audio. And so if you're sort of using the modern idea of what good acting is, he's a terrible actor. But if you're willing to sort of expand the idea of what acting is, there's room for his sort of like cranked all the way up acting, and there are good examples of it. Horror movie Mandy, and a horror movie I just watched last night called Color Out of Space, which is based on a H.P. Lovecraft story. When he's doing a scene where like his entire family just got murdered, it's believable because like he's cranking his volume up to 2000, and that's what you would be doing if your entire family just got murdered in front of your eyes, right? So it's like when his hyper aggressive acting fits the conventions of what we consider good acting, it works. But then when he does it in movies or roles where it doesn't quite match our expectations, it doesn't work. So I don't think Nick Cage is a bad actor. I think he just has a style of acting that doesn't fit what we're used to seeing. There you go. Thank you.
See, I feel
better
like
takes than Lucas.
If you have to do that kind of thing where it's like if
not at all.
If
not
your
at all.
idea of a good actor is a good actor, then he's certainly not a good actor.
No.
But if your idea of a good actor is a guy who sucks at acting, but
okay, tell me what the criteria is for a good actor. What is good acting? If you can give me that criteria, I'll agree with you. But if you tell me that is exclusively the only kind of good acting, you're wrong, because Benedict Cumberbatch's style of acting doesn't work in theater because you can't close in on his eyes and his facial expressions. What Nick Cage does is not modern movie television acting. It's more akin to theater acting.
I feel like for me, if I'm watching a movie and I feel like Nicolas Cage is the same guy in every single movie I'm watching, then he's not a good actor. And I feel like every Nicolas Cage movie, it's a version of Nicolas Cage. Like I'm too aware that it's Nicolas Cage. You know what I mean? Like DiCaprio.
Yeah.
Like he's such a big name. Like you have trouble like moving it, away from like it's DiCaprio, but he can get so invested in his roles that like look at The Revenant, which obviously was Oscar bait and it is what it is. But it's like you're not thinking the whole time, oh my god, it's DiCaprio. If Nicolas Cage was there, could you imagine? Oh, I'm eating a bison, and he'd be like screaming at the top of his lungs, and you'd be like, oh, it's Nick Cage.
I have just sent a link in. Oh, I sent a link way too many times. Whoops.
Oh god,
that should not have been done. All right, 1 second. Delete. I really messed that one up. Okay, I can't even delete it. Okay, guys, if you're on the YouTube live chat, I've sent a link. Nope, that's not where I got. I'm just ruining everything. I think I sent it already. Let me double check. Okay, guys, I sent a link in the YouTube chat. After this watch along, go and watch this video. Come back, tell me what you think about Nick Cage. I don't like him in most movies, though, I will say that. But
see, I feel.
Open your mind, Lucas. Open your mind. Watch that video, and then tell me what you think.
You want me to watch the video right now?
No.
I was about to say I do not like Nick Cage enough to like sit there and do a live stream watch along of high praise. Like, come on.
We're not gonna do that. No, but you should watch that video I sent you. Tell me what you think. Also, if you guys are fans of Community.
Oh yeah.
Dude, when Ahmed goes Nick Cage, full Nick Cage, it is the best thing I've ever seen.
And it's funny because it's true. Like the more you think about it, you're like, that is definitely like you can relate to that. Like you feel like you could get the same thing.
Yeah.
Listen, before these fights start, though, I'm gonna leave you real quick because I have to go to the bathroom.
I was about to ask you to take over. Go pee.
No, I can take over, but it's like
give me 1 second.
Pee during the fights.
No, okay. I'll be back in like two minutes tops.
Oh my god. Oh man, he did leave me alone. Ugh. All right, Carlos Condit. So fun fact about him, he doesn't like doing media from what I've heard, but he's such a good interviewer. Like, have you guys seen his interviews? Like, I feel like he's a crazy dude in the cage, but when he talks during interviews, he seems like such a regular, normal, thoughtful guy. You know what I mean? I don't know why he hates doing interviews because he's so good at them. My favorite interview he did was the one with what is it? All Elbows. Well, Esther Lynn, and they're like at a restaurant eating. It was such a good interview. I think it was Carlos Condit's restaurant too. That's why a restaurant. I'm pretty sure it was his, but it was so good. It was such a good interview. So
he was doing like he was running like a cold brew, nitro cold brew coffee place. That's where they're doing it.
But they were eating food too. So it was a restaurant. You're right about the coffee, but I'm pretty sure they were eating regular food. So But no, it was such a good interview. Like I wish he would do more interviews. And and while we're shilling for trying to interview Carlos Condit, I would love to book him. So but yeah, I wish he would do more media and stuff like that. I know he doesn't like to do it, but man, he is good at it. Matt Brown, doesn't that guy feel like he'd be really intense in real life? Like I've never gotten a chance to talk to him, but don't you feel like he'd be that guy who'd be intense over everything? Like when you see him out there, like it sounded like he had some real anger issues too. Like he was saying at one point he used to be angry all the time, but I mean I guess he's figured things out now. It sounds like he's calmer. Matt Brown is 40. Did you guys know Matt Brown is foot? That sounds great. 40. Wow, man. Yeah, I mean that's crazy. And Carlos Condit, it feels like he should be like 45. Like it feels like we've been seeing him forever. But early pick in this fight, I had Carlos Condit winning by decision. So far, I'm 1-2 on picks. So like I said, like either I get all the picks right or I'm crap. So obviously this night is crap. So since I'm saying Carlos Condit by decision, we can expect a Matt Brown submission. Something real crazy. But listen, this has a potential of either being a great, like in their primes, this would have been an insane fight where both of them are like bleeding and insane. Now, 40 years old versus close to 40 years old, I don't know. I don't know if it's gonna be that good. I'm hoping I'm wrong.
Okay, I'm back. Did you want to go pee or are you going to wait for the next fight?
No, I'm gonna go pee. I'm gonna go pee now.
Booted. All right, guys, the star of the show is back, and that is, of course, Shaq. Space Cowgirl 33, thank you for joining us. She wants to know if we're showing the fights. We are not showing the fights because if you didn't hear, Dana White is on a manhunt going after any fool who dare stream this week's series of Fight Island events. So no, but listen, if you're home alone, I know a lot of people, unfortunately, don't have company to watch fights within the pandemic. We're here. We will keep you company from now through to the end of Holloway versus Kattar. All right, guys, I'm so excited for this. I've been waiting for this fight for quite literally years. And even though it's taken this long for it to happen, I'm still thrilled to see Carlos Condit, Matt Brown. And right away, it's looking like it's going to be an interesting fight. Shout out to Space Cowgirl for checking us out, though. Appreciate it. All right, Lucas will be back. I think Sean is supposed to drop in at some point. I can't imagine he'll miss the main event, though. But, I got us. I love that. It's such a, like, at this point, everyone knows about it, but I love that funky combination Carlos Condit throws. He kind of rushes forward step by step, throws a straight, and then flings up with that head kick. It's really cool. And obviously, he's KO'd people with it before. And Matt Brown, I got to say, though, great job closing the distance as Carlos Condit was rushing, getting a body lock, takedown, landed in half guard. And we'll see what Carlos Condit can do because he used to be super crafty and active on his back, but it seems that as the rest of the division has improved in their submission offense, Carlos Condit's activity has mostly harmed him because it leaves him for a lot of openings where perhaps earlier on in his career, people couldn't capitalize quite as much. Nowadays, they'll catch him. They'll for sure catch him. Matt Brown opens up a little bit. He's doing a good job, Dan Hardy points out, of keeping Carlos against the fence. It's kind of uncomfortable on his neck. And most importantly, Carlos, who likes to be super... Oh, Lucas has just been sitting here. How long have you been sitting there for, buddy?
Like a minute. I was like, oh,
okay.
God, he's not going to look at StreamYard again.
No,
Keeping Carlos Condit's back on the ground. Like, if that's not the most classic, how am I going to beat Carlos Condit game plan I've ever seen?
Yeah, well, and the trick is keeping it against the fence so that Carlos can't initiate his scrambles the same way.
Yeah. Did I miss much in the first round? Like, did they put on a
No.
slugfest, or did I just see it?
They were active. They were active. Carlos went for that like super trademark combination where he rushes forward, he kind of goes punch, punch, and then throws up the kick.
Yeah.
And Matt Brown cut him off with a body lock and takedown.
Boy, Matt Brown looks better than I thought he would. Did you know Matt Brown was 40? I know I went on a little bit of a rant there. Did you know he was 40?
Yeah, you mentioned it several times, twice in the last 4 seconds.
Isn't that weird? Isn't that like a weird thing? Like, you would have told me he's like 37, I would have said yes, but 40? No way.
I just feel like he's been fighting forever.
That's true.
Dude, Matt Brown's like run of Matt Brown's run, like when he was a title contender, obviously not like a genuine title threat, but he was kind of in the mix there. That was so exciting. That fight against Eric Silva, like there was a moment there where Matt Brown was just so much fun. And he's still fun to watch, but like he was the kind of guy who you could beat, but who was just so dangerous that you would always want to tune in.
Yeah, would I dare say he was our Gaethje of back then? Like, you knew
A little
with
bit,
Matt
yeah.
Brown, you were
Like,
getting an exciting fight.
yeah, a little bit. Didn't quite fill out all the holes the way Justin Gaethje did, but that early Justin Gaethje, the sort of Michael Johnson saga of Justin Gaethje, I agree.
Yeah, Carlos Condit. Have you ever gotten a chance to talk to him before?
I have not. Like you said, super interesting guy. My all-time favorite fighter, but does not do a whole lot of media.
I wish he would. Like, isn't it weird? Like, for a guy that doesn't like to do it, like, why are you like when you hear him talk? He sounds like a totally normal dude. Like, he sounds like you'd want to hear him on the Joe Rogan Experience.
I agree. I think he should do his own show. So the thing is, nice little switch from Carlos Condit, and he gets the position. Oh, Matt Brown going for a deep half here. Colby was wondering, how is Brown bleeding? I'm not sure what happened, to be honest, because Brown was on top. Nice little butt punch. Matt Brown going for a knee bar attempt here, rolling into it. Carlos Condit turning the right way, and he's going to be able to land some nice little short elbows to end the round. That was really nice of Carlos Condit to kind of float with the position there, because it could have been bad if he let Matt Brown extend and sort of start getting a position, because the knee bar was his entry into the knee bar was really deep. I mean, listen, regarding Condit doing interviews, I mean, some people just don't want to talk, and then it's hard because not only do you get asked the same questions a lot, there's a good and a bad thing about managers in MMA. The bad in terms of media, the bad thing is they can make it sometimes unreasonably difficult to book interviews. Like, I think there's a lot of managers who at times are doing their fighters a detriment by blocking them. On the plus side, though, I get the need for them, because fighters have a bad habit of not fact checking who's reaching out to them, and they'll get the most random people who've never done interviews, who don't have any sort of background in it, who aren't even passionate about doing it for a living, who will just like hit you up, and they're just a fan, and they just want to talk to you, and they'll phrase it. I happened with Eric Anders. He's like, I was just talking to some random fan who told me he wanted to interview me, so I thought it was an interview.
I think we need to be careful of doing the random podcast, right? Like, I'm the host of the Bleeding Elbows podcast, and it's like, dude, like Curtis Blades is like, I don't do podcasts anymore because like all of it is just fans and stuff, and I so agree with that. Like, just click on the guy's Instagram or Twitter and see if he's real.
Agreed. All
right, they came out throwing this round. I like it.
They're good. They're going for it. Matt Brown, Carlos Condit's backing up a bit there.
Well, I think he got stunned. I mean, he tried to play it off. I think he got stunned.
Matt Brown, is there anyone who utilizes elbows better than Matt Brown? It's fascinating the way he throws them.
Dude, that knockout against Diego Sanchez, when we got to see it, like
incredible.
It was incredible. Wow, like the way he just came down like that, it was just execution. And good for him for also keeping a
nice counter right. That was nice. A good counter right by
is his body hurt? Did he get hurt to the body? Because we know
a little bit
issues with that.
He's been susceptible. So it was a nice like winding right hook, and then followed it up with a left kick to the body, which Matt Brown did not block at all. But Matt, to his credit, threw back, and he sort of halted Carlos Condit's forward pressure.
He looks tired. Are you seeing the way he's breathing? Wow.
Condit or Matt Brown?
No, Matt Brown.
It might be that body shot.
Yeah,
maybe he's having some trouble getting air.
Yeah, that fight against Jake Ellenberger, though, like I don't know if you remember that one. I can't believe it. That was like the ultimate. Matt Brown should have won, and then he ate that kick, and it was just wow. It was over.
Bro, you
Yeah.
know how much I like eating burgers. So
Oh God.
cool combination by Carlos Condit. Nice short kind of uppercutish hooks.
Dude, this second round is awesome. Like, the first round, like, with the ground game, it can't always be exciting, even though the last sequences were good.
I
But
would
this,
have
this is fun.
loved for this to be a 5-rounder. I would have loved for this to be a 5-rounder. Maybe not for their health. Probably best it's not, but I would have loved to see it.
Yeah. I would love for this to be a CTE inducing contest, is what I'm hearing.
No, I'm not a fan.
Shaq
No.
lost
Don't, guys,
racism,
separate. No one
CTE.
wants to see this. No one wants to see this. Like, shout out to Matt Brown for trying to win a fight, but
What am I supposed to rant about clinching against the fence?
in this fight, yes. In this fight, I will rant about clinching. In most cases,
God,
no.
I
In
hate
this
it.
fight,
I
I
hate
will.
it so. I had Mike Rodriguez was telling me, like, I don't think he realized I rant about it, but he was like, we're using that strategically and stuff, and it's like, man, I feel you.
Hey,
I
what
hate
a
it.
beautiful little sweep from Condit. Oh, and he's keeping the foot too, so Brown can't get his balance. He loses it. Good. Oh, another single leg. This I don't mind. I'm happy to see grappling exchanges as long as they're interesting like this.
Yeah, exactly. It's high level. I mean, Carlos Condit, people tend to kind of shit on his ground game, but you saw some high level stuff tonight or this afternoon.
I agree.
Especially for you, like you're in Pacific time, right? So it's like not even 2 p.m.
No, and I love it. I wish Saturday cards were always like this. I have an interview booked at 5 p.m. I think, but I'm looking forward, and I got to edit this entire Connor video. But I'm like looking to get home not at midnight. I mean, I know it's hard for you guys on the East Coast, way harder, obviously, but I can go home.
Who are
I
you
can go
talking
home.
to? Can you reveal who you're interviewing?
Yeah. We're getting Jimmy Rivera to do a couple. I'm just shooting reaction videos. I'm not doing anything else right now. So we're getting Jimmy Rivera to do some reaction videos. Definitely want to get him in on the Conor McGregor trash talk one, and we got some good ones, dude. We got some good ideas coming by. I guess there's no. I'm gonna keep one of them. I mentioned it before. I'm not gonna push one of them. We are doing a Mortal Kombat fatalities one. So that one's a little harder. I'll say the fighters haven't been as into it. Yeah, just they haven't had as much to like offer and response, but it's also kind of hard because some of the reaction videos will get them to watch the clip and then react after. Some will get them to react in real time, and for sometimes it's a little hard to like react as you're watching.
Yeah.
But we got some good ones. We got some good videos coming out. So I'll say right now, keep an eye out. We're getting one of Gilbert Burns' coaches, who also used to coach Kamaru Usman, to do a tier list ranking Usman's greatest foes. So I think that'll be a unique one in the sense that the person has experience training both fighters. So that'll be a good one. And then we got some other little ideas in the book. We just got to get around to them. Okay, so round 1, Matt Brown. Round 2, Condit, right?
Yep.
All right.
Yep.
What were you gonna say about Gilbert?
No, he was one of those guys. Like I could text him right now and get a response, but after the last fight, I think his management like cut off all interviews and all media interaction. That's why at one point you saw everybody did interviews with him, and now today it's like he does no media, and it sucks because it's like Gilbert's a good interview and his English has improved.
He's
so
great.
much, too.
Gilbert's a great interview. I'll give them a little bit of a pass there, only in the sense that Gilbert's like a world title contender now. I understand his management sort of wanting him to stick to major publications.
Yeah.
I just think
kind of balance.
Yeah, but some of these managers, like, I'm surprised by the people they won't give me.
Yeah.
And I'm like, look, they're not going to get a lot of ESPN interviews.
Yeah, they want like most managers want ESPN and TMZ, and it's like, okay, but like if you're not getting any requests, why not maybe some of the people that are requesting them? But or when fighters say like, no, the media didn't care, like they're talking about ESPN and TMZ, like they're not talking about you and me. So that's why I'm always like, we're trying to interview you, you know what I mean? But you want TMZ to talk to you on their, huge show. So that's the difference.
Oh, wait. Oh, so here's a funny one. I'm going to mute the fight for a second because I know the little media gossip you're going to like this. 1 second.
Okay. I do enjoy media gossip. I mean, I ain't gonna beat you, as my friend would say. I do quite enjoy it. I think I like Quinta said on Twitter that he has Condit up too. I don't, you know, no offense to Raging, but Raging, I don't or Raging, I don't know which one he is. Whatever. I don't know how you can have that first round for Condit. That one feels kind of weird to me.
Raging. Okay, listen to this. So Alessio Di Chirico, after his win, didn't speak. He sat down for his post-fight interview. John Morgan asked him a question. He said, "I'm sorry, I'm not going to talk to you guys," and he walks out.
Why?
And the reason he walks out is because he was upset that the media only talks to the winning fighter. I don't know if anyone told Alessio that the media doesn't decide who attends those post-fight conferences. It's the UFC.
Or even after the fight, you know what? Like if you lose the fight, like we're pretty much told, like don't reach out to the losing fighter. Like that's kind of the rule of the. But I mean, if you want us to talk to you, say it. But like you know, don't.
Well, dude, oh, Carlos Condit got the back after a really nice sweep to transition. Yeah, on the Alessio note, Luke Thomas makes a good point, which is it's arguably cruel to talk to the fighters who are concussed or suffer devastating losses. So I think someone may want to inform Alessio about how these post-fight presses work.
Yeah, I don't know. It just
He's not doing himself any favor. He just got a huge KO.
I mean, I
Over Joaquin
understand.
Buckley.
I understand what he thinks he's doing. You know what I mean? Like
Which
making
is
a
why I'm just
statement.
saying someone needs to inform him that he's got wrong information.
I think in his mind, he's like, you only care when we're winning, which I feel you. But at the same time, it's like you have to understand how it works. Like, you know, we're not supposed to talk, like
Oh,
reach out
dude,
for interviews.
Carlos Condit had the entry to do. Oh, his okay. Matt Brown has his arm, but otherwise, Carlos Condit has the entry for that Joker team that Jack Hermanson really likes to do. But
Joker team,
we
good
didn't.
lord. By the way, I have Condit at my official pick for unanimous decision, which looks pretty good right now. But
And you didn't just make this pick right now?
no, it's on what's it called? Verdict MMA. Like I made those picks like weeks ago, which most of them are not aging well. But
Joseph Boza says, if they were the Apex Center, Al would be right. Condit would be up 2 rounds right now. Ain't that the truth? Shout out to Judge Chris Lee, who gets every single fight wrong. Like, I'm sorry, so someone's got to check in on Judge Chris Lee's well-being. Like, I don't know if he needs glasses, if he's forgetful, but like something's not right with the way he judges fights.
It's like, are you getting secondhand CTE? Like, what's going on, man? What are we doing here?
Matt Brown doing a good job to not allow Condit to establish those top control positions. Bad move by Condit. He tried to rush for a Kimura, but Brown shook him off. Condit's got a triangle set up, but Matt Brown's really high. I don't think Condit's going to be able to.
Brown is tired. Like, do you see him look at the clock, breathing hard? Like that guy. I think he's at this point where it's like survive.
This is a good fight, though. It's not like fight of the year by any stretch, but it's a good fight.
There haven't been a whole lot of fights this year, but you know, whatever.
Yeah, well, exactly. That's the point. It's not fight of the year, even by the standards.
I feel like everybody's so quick to say like both of them are shot and stuff like that. I mean, this fight, you know, even Carlos Condit, like people are shot. You know, it happens. You lose fights against top opponents.
I'm a big fan of legend fights. As long as both guys can still adequately defend themselves at that level, I love old man fights. And this is like the perfect example of an old man fight.
I wouldn't mind, you know, one of these guys fighting Nick Diaz. I mean, while we're fights out there, why not? You know,
I say this like every episode of 1-2 Punch when it comes up. You need to be careful about when you. Carlos Condit threw the Matt Brown elbow, got him, got a takedown. Matt Brown reverses it in a top position. Carlos Condit reguards. What a crazy exchange.
Matt Brown ate that. He didn't care. He was just like.
I got Condit up 2 rounds right now, second and third though, because he's landed the hard. Don't let this position fool you. Condit landed the harder punches and harder elbows this fight.
Yeah, I agree. I have Condit 29-28, and we have the same scorecard. So But I don't know. We saw some weird stuff from Raging, so we could see some weird stuff from the judges. But it seems pretty obvious to me that Condit won it.
Yeah, even here, Brown hasn't been able to add anything hit him at all, basically.
Yeah. This was a good fight, though. I don't want
I
to,
liked it.
Monday see a bunch of like, oh, both these guys are retired. No, like this is a decent fight. Like this, I would have liked to see more of the stand up we saw in the second because that was so much fun. But
Hmm. But
no,
they made the grappling fun. There were
yeah,
scrambles, there
yeah.
were slams, there were back takes, there were triangle attempts. It was good. It was
This
good.
could have very easily been a lay and pray for one of these guys, and it almost was. But then it wasn't. So good on them. We saw some really fun grappling things that I think you're going to see when you put veterans against each other like that.
I agree. I agree. Yeah, I say this all the time. You got to be really, really careful when it comes to matching up these old guys because you see the UFC do a lot of this. They'll feed the aging fighters to like UFC debutantes and guys with not a lot of name power behind them. And what happens is, Miguel Beza, I don't think gets as much of a rub off Matt Brown as Matt Brown losing hurts him health wise. I like it Israel Adesanya Anderson Silva situation where you have someone in Izzy who you've already built and who will actually be able to further elevate himself based on the name, value, and position on a card. When you put Miguel Beza versus Matt Brown on a prelim, you don't do anything for Matt Brown and you don't do a whole lot for Miguel Beza. I'd rather see Carlos Condit and Matt Brown pool their name value and put on a fun main card scrap. And if you're gonna sacrifice one of them, do it to like a Michael Chiesa, like they did with Condit. Someone who's going to actually be able to take that name value and do something with it.
Yeah, I want to see more of those fun, old man fights. They're like younger than our parents, but I want to see more fights like that. Like Anderson versus guys like Vitor and stuff like that. I don't see why it had to be always the old guy versus the prospect. Like,
Yeah, I
why
agree.
can't why can't they do the Bellator thing where it's like two old dudes go
So
at
I
it?
think Condit just, sorry to cut you off. I think Condit just won 30-27. I
I,
don't
I
know
saw
about that.
I saw some of that on Twitter. It seems like people were like, I wouldn't be mad at a 30-27. I'm not mad, but I'm not like thrilled.
The right man won. I think that's ultimately what's the most important.
All right, so on official picks, the first fight I had Puna, but I had him by decision, so that was wrong. But at least the fighter was right. And this fight is the only fight that I've gotten correct so far, like completely correct.
Yeah. All right, let's hear this post fight interview because Condit might retire. Who knows?
No, listen to how calm he is. Good question. Call somebody out. God damn it, Carlos. That
A
was
weird little
not
tongue
good,
thing.
Carlos.
Jackie McKay in the chat asks, who won, Condit or Brown? Condit. Unanimous decision win. I think it was definitely 29-28. Some people gave it to him 30-27.
He had the opportunity to call somebody out, and he said, "I'll fight whoever." Carlos, that is not how it works. You've been in this game way too long to give me some crap like I'll take whoever.
Nate Diaz, dude. Call Nate
Yeah, or
Diaz.
yeah, Diaz brother. I mean, they're frustrating me. Carlos Condit. I hope you know that.
He's just bummed that he won't give you an interview.
No, no. If I'm not, I don't hold grudges against these fighters. Like everybody's trying to get me to be the
Except
anti.
Kevin Holland, yeah.
Everyone's trying to get me to do the anti Kevin Holland shtick, but it's like nah. Like if I didn't do it for him, I'm not gonna be mad at Carlos. Like I'm seeing all this stuff on Twitter. I'm happy none of these guys got brain damage. And you guys have to stop with that, man. Like, if I was a professional fighter and I was towards the end of my career and I was seeing stuff like that, I would feel like that would be so condescending. You know what I mean? Like, are you really gonna, act
Lucas
like
Grandsire wants people who wants fathers to get brain damage is the headline we're running with.
Oh, there we go. No, I just feel like with fighters, like you got to respect these guys. You know, you're talking about them
Yeah.
like, oh, I'm just glad like nobody got hurt. Like, you know, it's a fight, man. Like, you know, talk to me like I'm an athlete. Don't like, you know, bring it like this fight was good for two old dudes. No, either the fight was good or it wasn't. I hate when people do that. I feel like it's so condescending. Like, if you're a fighter, like, do you really want people raving about how you're old, but you know, you still, I don't know. It just don't sit right with me.
Wait. Is Dana White talking?
No way, it's anything good.
Yeah, we should listen though.
Go on ESPN Plus now and subscribe. Oh God, it's Stephen A. Smith,
Yeah.
the kid. Cap. That's Cap. What a softball of a question. It's funny. Kids, again with that.
Ugh, so extra.
Oh, apparently this was from last week. I don't even want to listen to it.
Okay,
Like,
from last week. We don't have to
this
listen
is
to it.
like the most obvious. Like, you know, Dana gonna come with a question off the cuff. Like, Dana knows what you're gonna say. Like, don't act like, you know, Stephen A. Smith is the journalist. Blah blah. Somebody's asking what happened to crack streams. I don't know, man. You know, but here on ABC, everything's looking good and looking legal. So, you know.
I mean, I don't know, but I'll briefly take a look for you. Let's see, crack streams.
Oh yes, type in crack streams and find it, Shaq.
1 second, pop-ups. It's playing for me. I just opened it up. Yes, well, I'm surprised. I'm trying to think. There were what, 2 fast knockouts? Oh no, there were 3 first-round knockouts. So yeah, unfortunately, they're stretching out the broadcast. I don't know what the answer is, but I really wish they had something figured out. Wouldn't it be nice if they just like ran old fights or something?
No,
Like,
give us the damn fights and let's move on.
I don't know if they can though. Like I would imagine there's some sort of like they have a block of TV picked out, right? So what are you gonna do if the fights end 2 hours early? ABC doesn't have any programming prepared.
Show some of my interviews then. Like, you know what I mean? I have production ideas, Shaq. Like, you want to hear about Diego Lima talk about farting and pooping babies or whatever? Like, you know, I'm your guy. Like, you know, no need for Stephen A. Smith pretending to be the hardcore MMA journalist. Like, I'm here to ask the questions.
Facts.
Well, what coaches did you interview for your thing? I knew you talked to Dean Thomas.
It's an ongoing project. So we've done Dean
If you're able to
Thomas.
reveal it.
Yeah, Dean Thomas is the only one we've done so far. I have reached out to Saif Saud. I'm supposed to set something up with Greg Jones, who is Gilbert Burns' wrestling coach. And that's basically what I have ready to go right now. But there's a bunch I want to get. I'm trying to tie those when possible around fight events.
Yeah.
So I'm not just reaching out to like, not that I would get them, but like Greg Jackson or Jason Perillo for no reason. Once there's a fight that makes sense, I'll bring them on to kind of tie into that.
So I love interviewing coaches. Like the first time I talked to a coach thing was Dean Thomas, and like they bring so much different insight. Like, you know, fighters are kind of like, I really like this matchup. But coaches will, they'll spill the tea, man. Coaches are interesting. I've enjoyed talking to who I've talked to so far.
I agree. Yeah, oftentimes they're more interesting than the fighters, to be honest.
But Saif Saud was like, nobody wants to hear me talk for an hour. I'm like, Saif,
Dude,
my guy, people want to hear you and your insight. He was like, nobody wants to hear you talk. That's fair. But people
Did he tell you that?
Yeah, but he was like, nobody wants to hear you. Nobody wants to hear me. I was like, they probably don't want to hear me, but they want to hear me if that means they're hearing me, like, egg you on to continue talking. But Saif surprised me. I don't know why I was expecting someone to be like, I was expecting him to be like extremely square, like every question it's like a dry answer. Saif was an excellent interview. I was really surprised by how good it was, and he's such a nice guy too.
All right, well, I'm gonna need you to get me in touch then.
Oh yeah, Shaq.
I DM'd him, but
my friend on what?
Twitter.
Does he follow you?
No.
Ooh. No, that's where I got him. I got him on Twitter, but he followed me a very long time ago. So
you can just put in a good word for me or something. We'll figure it out.
I'll be like some up and coming guy. I think his name is Shakael. He reached out
Shakael.
to me.
Jack McKay is wondering any news on Habib Dana meeting. Yeah, Dana White shit the bed. He's like, Habib says he'll fight if someone impresses him at UFC 257, which, for my estimation, means Habib said no. Speaking of a load of crap, here is Sean Ross.
I'm right in the middle. Right in the
Yeah, we'll fix that 1 second. There you go.
Oh, look at that. Look at that.
How do I fix these?
Down here, I'm you, Shaq. You're definitely not me, though. So now, there we go.
I'm Sean. There we go.
So youthful and exuberant. Like, look at me.
I know.
Man.
How's it going, Sean?
Okay. It's going pretty good. I've been enjoying this card a lot. It's been very good.
Have you had the watch along open? Have you been engaging?
No, absolutely not. I took a nap.
Set an example, buddy. You gotta.
I took a nap.
Do you want him to lie, or do you want him to tell the truth? Like,
I took a nap during the or between the last two fights, and it was glorious. You have no idea how much I enjoy not having to do this anymore.
I know every time on a Friday that I text the staff or the end of the staff, I'm like, hey guys, I'm just taking a 45-minute break. It's just me sleeping on the bed in the office.
Oh man, I need to tell the people that the main event has joined for the main event.
Of course.
Let's see here.
Here we are. Sean, who do you have? What is your official prediction?
Max Holloway, I'll say round 4.
Okay. Lucas?
Well, see, I talked to Tyson Chartier on the podcast, and as soon as we finished, this guy caught me off guard. He's like, who you got in the fight? And I'm like, holy, like, how am I going to tell the coach, manager of the guy, like, an unbiased opinion? So I gave some bullshitty kind of answer, but I feel like the safe pick is Max Holloway. But I see why people are picking Calvin, because they feel like he's sort of like a Dustin Poirier and that he's strong with good boxing. But I'm going to stick with Max Holloway, but I have him by decision. I feel like, that's really the safe pick. And because I picked that, we're going to see the complete opposite.
Yeah,
like a Calvin submission in like the second round or something crazy.
Tell you what, UFC couldn't have gotten much of a better, as far as action-packed and highlights, debut on ABC. It's been really, really great.
Yeah, there's
really love it.
And I've been saying that what I love about the main card is there's something interesting. There's like a shred of a storyline in every main card fight. You had it open up with 2 undefeated guys, right? Someone's O's got to go. You had Joaquin Buckley building on the success of that viral KO. You have Calvin Kattar probably fighting for a title shot, and Holloway trying to rebuild. And you had Carlos Condit, Matt Brown, 2 legends of the sport, a ton of a dream fight, years in the making. So it's been an all-around success. The prelims sucked.
Did they? I didn't watch a bit of it. I was
they sucked more than a Blue Chew sponsorship. And
I was thrilled when I saw like how early this show started, especially considering like I thought I was going to be keeping my eye on this during Impact Hard to Kill, and I'm so glad that I won't have to. Wow, I just looked at the prelim results. Oh my god.
No, it was not fun. It was not
you can
fun.
just look at it and you can just tell. But that the Carrico KO also, I understand the guy is not used to winning in the UFC. But that was very, very weird to be like, hey, you should interview that other guy that I just gave CTE to.
Yeah. And so there's two caveats to that. One is like, do you really want to come and talk to the media after you get knocked out? And then two, someone needs to just inform. I'm like Lucas said, I think in his mind what he's saying makes sense. Someone should probably inform him that the media does not decide who comes out for the UFC post-fight pressers. That's all on the promotion.
Yeah, and I mean, like, I know that they've had a lot of stuff that is like they have seminars and things like that, orientations of some degree. They used to have like the big ones that they'd fly everybody in. Those need to be like regular for every first time UFC fighter. Like somebody gives like a 30, 40 minute seminar, like, hey, please don't bury us. You work for us, yada, yada, yada. This is how things go. Like common sense stuff.
I agree.
Or a minimum of media training, just kind of explaining like, well, obviously I don't want Dana White explaining the role of the media, but like, you know, sort of like, this is what they're here for, guys. Like, we don't dictate anything. And I say we, having never been at one of those press conferences, but it's like,
why do you think Dana White's anti-media tweet got taken down?
Trump.
Really? Just because of that?
I mean, I don't know. The only thing that's crossed my mind and that I've heard repeated online is just like the president's rhetoric that directly or indirectly, depending on your stance, led to the Capitol riots.
So that's why
not a good look. It's probably not a good time in light of that for Dana White to be going on a campaign against the media when it could possibly translate into some sort of physical harm for someone.
Yeah.
For
sure. Yeah. It's just, man, that was so. No, I don't. I mean, like I said, I'm legitimately detached. I mean, legitimately detached. I didn't know that UFC was on ABC until yesterday.
No,
I had no idea.
That means I'm doing my job well enough that you don't have to
say. When I say all this stuff, I don't mean, oh my God, I hate MMA or anything like that. It's just there's no like backstage news to be had in MMA. So outside of my takes that okay, I'm going to say that Max Holloway is not the consensus best 145 pounder ever. Okay, that's going to get me about 50 angry tweets. Right. So I'm like, you know what? I won't talk about it that much anymore either if I'm not covering it. There's not a lot that I can really lend to that. I'm not actively training anymore. I'm not teaching anything anymore. So I'm like, you know what? I'll leave it to the pros.
Boom.
Yes, he said the pros. He didn't say I'm gonna leave it to Shaq, but you know,
he has left it to Shaq.
I'm just saying he is a pro. We do pay him,
except last night when he had to go publish something for me. So
that's true. That's true. Yeah, not very pro of you.
No,
not very pro of you at all. I do like this aesthetic, though. I do like the black and gold.
Yes, thank you. I took the one that you already had. I just swapped out some colors a little bit. It's, you know, we're looking for champ status, so the entire channel is going gold for the most part.
Did I show you what I had made?
No.
Oh, I got to show you. You'll like this. I got to show you privately though, because it's not revealed yet.
Yeah.
Lucas, I'll CC you in this, even though you're probably too young to even know what it is.
I'm like Shaq.
I'm Shaq too, but I get the feeling Shaq might know. But let me see.
I will pretend either way. If I don't, I'm going to pretend. So you'll never know.
Yeah, don't like say specifically what it is on the air, but I had this made for something that's coming up, and
is this pro wrestling themed? Because Lucas
kind of. Let me see if it'll send.
I'll practice my reaction. I'll be like, "Oh shit, damn, you did that!" And then I'm like, "Right?" You said, "Yeah, but what's the thing?" And then,
no, it's just a little graphic related thing that I looked at, or that I wanted made. I'm trying to. Where the hell? I can't do it
through Twitter, or what's the?
I was gonna, and now it's being weird. So let me see.
You know what? Speaking of my acting skills, which I was speaking about, Sean, where do you stand with Nicolas Cage?
God.
Nicolas Cage, like,
he's such a
where are you
actor.
No, guys, you got this all wrong, man.
He's such a bad actor.
Sean, I'm sending you a video to watch.
Shaq is like, he's not a bad actor in terms of what a good actor is.
No. Listen, if you're gonna do this, you're gonna make me go through this entire 40-minute spiel again that no one wants to hear a second time. I doubt they want to hear it the first time.
Con Air. I watched Con Air, and like,
Okay.
if he weren't in it, it would have been so much better.
Okay, have you seen Mandy?
No.
It's a horror movie. It's like someone popped acid and made a horror movie.
Okay, well, you know what? I think that if you were on acid, you might believe that he's a good actor.
If I sent you like an explainer on Nick Cage, would you watch it, Sean?
No, I've been watching him my whole life. Why do I need explained? He's a bad actor. I liked 8mm, but he wasn't that great in it either.
I will. I am not saying that I like Nicolas Cage.
Okay,
I'm just saying there's more to it than that.
I've sent you guys the video. I will remain quiet while you all watch it.
Oh, this is terrific.
I gotta hope my sound is off.
This is great. What did you make this for? Just for listening to your boy?
I can't say what I made it for yet.
Okay, is that too much?
Yeah, that's too much.
All right, sorry.
But yeah,
That's dope.
That's I can't
awesome.
really provide a lot of additional information on that right now, but
Okay.
yeah.
I like it. It looks good.
Do you have a release date?
Yeah, this week. It'll be this week. I can't say what day though, because it'll give it away.
Okay. All right. Yeah. I'm too tired to even think of a lie to cover up what it is. Shut up before I ruin something.
We don't gotta lie to the people. I don't lie to the people.
No, you don't lie to people.
Let's
Just to the
see.
staff.
When have I ever lied to the staff? What,
I don't know, man.
Telling our new team of hires they'd be in good hands with you? Yeah,
Yes,
I guess I did.
Matter
Damn.
of fact, yes.
I guess I did.
The boss had time today, Shaq. Everything just boom. He was ready for the counter for
Dude, this
everything.
is what Sean does, man.
Why do people do it? Why do they come for me? They got to know better than that. I made my name on talking shit to people. That's what I'm an internet troll first, and then whatever my job description is second.
Yeah, well, one of these days where I'm not like 3 hours into this UFC live stream, I'll come with some fresh material.
Buddy, please. I did back-to-back nights, 4 hours, Wrestle Kingdom watch along. Middle of the morning. We're talking 3 a.m. to 7 a.m. Don't give me that.
And it was boring, but
It
Sean
was
Ross Sapp
great.
standards.
It was amazing.
You're right. I'm sorry. Joel killed
I
it.
talked about me and a wrestler yelling at each other on the phone.
So did you reveal that publicly? Because when you told me who it was, I was like, I feel like I know this
I've
already.
not said the person's name. No, and I might eventually, but I don't know.
I swear
You're still
teased
mad
it
at me
and
now.
I-
After they said, "Oh, I respect you for standing up for yourself," they were then mad at me over something else that happened later that week. So,
Oh, okay. So I think
That's
if someone
probably
were
why.
to connect the dots very carefully, I think we
Yeah,
can figure it out. Don't do that, guys. Don't worry about it.
yeah, don't worry about that.
So okay, let me ask you this then. Because you said maybe I'll tell you one day. What are the conditions under which you would reveal who that altercation was with? Like, what would you? It's a time. Is it amending?
Maybe in a
Is it
book.
asking them
In a book.
In a book.
I mean, that person
when you can
might-
profit off of it.
Yeah, exactly. Because this was all on, I mean, they didn't specify off the record. The subsequent email was off the record, I assume by the legal disclaimer at the bottom of it. But I mean, hey, and you know what? I still respect them as a performer and as an athlete, but we yelled at each other. They had their issues. I had my issues. We didn't agree on those issues. And yeah, that was that. Like I don't dislike them about it or anything. It's just we disagreed on something and we yelled at each other about it.
I agree. It happens.
It doesn't happen that often.
No. I don't mean in the industry. I
Yeah.
just mean in life. You know, like you
Yeah.
have your disagreements with people. Sometimes
Sure,
I agree
sure.
to disagree.
That might be the first time people are like, can somebody give us updates, please? We're going to talk about the fight when the fight happens. They're walking out to the ring right now. Max
There's
Holloway.
shout out to him.
Holloway is Jesus posed across a flag. I'll give you the updates, my friend.
Yeah, don't worry. We'll get you covered once the fight begins.
He just
This is
buffer.
Marietta. This is the live stream. Haven't you been listening to Dana White? If we show something, we are effed. We're going to jail.
Also, guys, I love you. I appreciate you for tuning in. I appreciate it, Marietta, and I appreciate it, David. But it's on ABC. It's free.
Oh, you're right. This is on like free network
Yes.
television.
Go out there and extend your antenna and put some tinfoil on it or something, my friends. It is free.
All right, here we go, guys. Max Holloway, Calvin Kattar.
Yes.
Sean Rossap ruining my life, but he's got a great, nice, like velvety voice.
I'm
so
good
it'll
at
lend
this
itself
shit.
well.
I'm really good at this stuff, Shaq.
You are. Nice leg kick from Calvin Kattar to open.
How shocked would you be if we saw a one-punch KO from either man in this one?
Not at all from Kattar. And
On Max Holloway.
well, Max
Max
is a volume puncher. That's the thing. Like,
no, but I'm saying like he doesn't get one-punch KO'd.
no, but
tell me you would be
Kattar's
shy
got
just be
power.
like, oh yeah, that's what Calvin does to Max.
Would I be caught off guard? Yes, but would it be it wouldn't even be the biggest surprise tonight. I think that goes to Joaquin Buckley getting head kick KO'd by a dude on a 3-fight losing streak.
I disagree. Like, seeing Max get starched, that would be the most shocking.
Well, Lucas, I'd be careful because I can do this.
Ooh. Do you think there was intent for a head kick with that Buckley head kick, or do you think that it happened to catch him as he was dipping down?
The latter.
Yeah. Which, I mean, hey, I don't care if you throw your leg at somebody and it knocks them out. That's just a good knockout. I know some people
Sean,
say,
how do we fix the order here? Oh, no,
I already did it. I did it. You just drag it. You just grab the window and then drag it up there.
I think the best examples of like vicious head kick KOs are the ones where the guy dips and he actually hits him with their knee.
Yeah.
You saw Ryan Bader get KO'd that way. You saw Marlon Moraes KO Aljamain Sterling that way. Like, there's something about throwing a head kick and landing with the knee that just F's people.
Yeah. Shin to the dome too. Like Anthony Pettis over Joe Lozon. Like, that's like the perfect example of, the shin to the dome. Just out.
Yeah. Setting up this Impact Hard to Kill post-show pay-per-view, guys. Make sure you guys tune in for that.
I was gonna watch that one match because I love the Motor City Machine Guns, and I was very bummed.
It is a bummer.
How bad would it be if Holloway loses this? Is he done as a legitimate title threat?
Man, how old is he? Isn't he like 29?
He's so young. That's the crazy part, right?
Because I mean, yeah, he's 29, and I mean a fresh 29. Like last month turned 29. Yeah. Well, I remember back in the day, a fella named old Bob Lawler. They thought he was done at a young age, and ended up working all right for him.
I think the pace is already starting to get to Kattar a bit. Holloway is really sneaky, and I can't tell you how he does it, but he does such a good job of getting angles on people.
Yeah.
Like he backed up and he kind of stung Kattar a little bit with a combination, but it came like he was almost standing with both feet outside of Kattar's lead leg. Like the shots were coming from the side. It's almost like when you get a sideline, when you get decked from someone coming up from behind you. It's really interesting how Holloway is able to get these little angles on people.
Bilal Muhammad pointed out that Max Holloway has his right rib sticking out or something like that. It could be something interesting to look out for, or just Bilal, being a good tweeter and posting random crap.
Like it's like the rib is physically poking out of his body, or
yeah, that's what he's saying. I think I caught a glimpse of it, but at the same time, like the tattoos and camera angles.
I don't know. Oh, I see. Yeah, I definitely see something, but is that just how his ribs are? I feel like someone would have noticed that before.
You know how Bilal Muhammad is. Like he'll tweet all this stuff and he lies about most of it.
Bilal's a
good
personality.
No, he's a good person. He's such a troll though.
It's fine. That Sean made a career out of it.
No, I didn't say it was a bad thing. It's just it's a fact. I saw a lot of people on Twitter were saying, Calvin Kattar is going to win and stuff like that. It seemed weird to me, like, all of a sudden, like, Max isn't favored anymore in fights like this.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard, dude. MMA is such a hard sport to make predictions on.
People are fickle, too.
Yeah.
Sean would know. Yeah, it's just like I don't even want to talk. I just want to watch the fight.
Feels like Max Holloway is like starting to take over.
Yeah, he's pressuring really, really well.
Yeah,
I would say Max taking the lead. Shout out to Joel Pearl. He knows what's up with my Twitter handle. Sometimes you got to find the one, you know.
What you mean, Shaq Fu, like the video game?
Yeah,
Super
way
Nintendo
better
Shaq Fu?
than way better than my old one. Way better.
Yeah.
Um,
Thanks. That
Good.
wasn't a nightmare to update all of our social links or anything with no advance notice.
oh yeah, did I? Hey,
I didn't have to go into the site and change like 6 links and change our YouTube defaults at all. Not at all.
just remember, I had 1 staff member November 30th. I had 5 to train December 1st.
I'm just saying, at sometimes that doesn't look so bad.
You know what looks bad right now? Actually, I'm not gonna even say it because I don't want
you
to get in trouble. Oh man, I'm glad you're here, Sean. We started edging into territories of conversation that were definitely about to get us kicked off.
Ain't no we. All of it was Shaq.
It was
boy.
Like there was no we. It was like he was
saved
trying to
myself.
drag me down with him. Like, you know, and
I'll just say it helps that I'm an ethnic minority. I get a little bit more leeway.
My God.
All of a sudden, like that becomes relevant.
Guys, I recommend you guys don't start throwing your white privilege around. It's 2021.
Good God.
Gotta be careful here.
How long's that contract guaranteed for? Let's just.
I know I should have. When you were Sean was so chill about like a guaranteed contract length. I should have just said 10 years and got myself settled it nicely.
Should have, but you never know.
I made a mistake.
I didn't. You had a guaranteed deal before I did.
Hey,
fun fact. I was on a 30-day rolling deal until this fall. I just was like, yeah, I know he'll give a guaranteed deal because I just never asked for one.
I take care of my money. I take care of my money.
Fightful MMA Twitter. What's going on here? Oh yeah, we need to update the Fightful MMA Twitter. That's on Kyler.
What's wrong with the Fightful MMA Twitter?
They probably got your old handle on there.
Oh, I see. I can do that.
Yeah, you do that then.
Hey, so what happens if Shaq demands a trade? Like goes all James Harden on you guys? Like demands a trade, gets fat.
Bro, I ain't getting traded anywhere.
We'll get a smooth late 2nd round draft pick out of him, maybe.
Yeah.
Like we'll get some Serbian MMA writer that will never actually end up taking the floor, maybe. But we free up that cap space.
Yeah. Listen, I will tell you this: I could get picked up by another outlet. I wouldn't make as much money. I am loyal to Fightful.
He says that because he's got a guaranteed deal. But wait until you guys don't make the playoffs, and there he's gonna be, trade me an MMA junkie. I want to go to a bigger.
Hey, market. I grew. Hey, the YouTube channel grew by 15% in my first 4 months here.
I'm just saying. You know what? It grew 100% during my time.
Yeah, well, 0, like 1 is a greater number than 0.
Well, I mean, we're talking percentages here, right?
Hey, yeah, true. Guys, we're 2 minutes into the second round and haven't spoken a word about it.
Yeah, we have. I said that Max Holloway was pressuring very well. He is.
Did I miss Kattar getting dropped?
I don't think so.
Kevin Yu in the chat says Kattar got dropped.
Maybe he's on Fight Island right now. That happens way too much where like people are at the venue and they tweet and then like a minute and a half later I actually see it. I think Max Holloway's looking good right now besides the hair. Not like I can talk, but
bro, Max Holloway's got weird hair because he's got a middle length that's really like he looks good, but this isn't it. Ooh, Calvin Kattar got his
Brett Okamoto's hair today was looking on fire.
Brett Okamoto is the standard for who is the Brett Okamoto of pro wrestling media? Who is that handsome in the pro wrestling media space?
Well, me, but seriously, Chris Van Vliet.
It's Chris Van Vliet. I'm gonna say, hey, shout out to Chris Van Vliet. He gave me a follow on Twitter the other day. Thank you.
He's great.
He's a good guy. Yo, Max Holloway. He mixes it up so nicely. When he gets you backing up, he just throws everything at you. You're not going to be able to like cover up against the fence and survive it because he's going to hit you in the stomach. He's going to kick your legs out. He's going to throw an elbow at you.
He takes the best part of the Diaz style. Like I remember back in the day, like if you got backed up against the cage by a Diaz brother, that was it. That was right. Well, there you go. I think this dude is on Fight Island. Okay. Kattar didn't get dropped. Max got some offense in round 1.
Yeah,
But
I'm
yeah,
saying
that's what I love. As soon as somebody's back hits the cage, he presses forward even more because he knows that he's got him off balance.
Well, Matt, I'll disagree with this comment in the chat that says Max is just trying to do enough to win on the cards.
No
what
way.
are you talking about? He just stunned him with an elbow. Oh my God, the way it goes to the body. Whew. I'm sorry, Joseph. Your chat is not aging well right now.
And also, I got respect for Calvin Kattar, at least chucking and ducking to get out of there, like anything he can.
What do you do? Oh my God. Oh my God. Kattar might not make it out of this round.
Nasty.
Dude, his face is all swollen.
This is what I like to see out of Max Holloway. This is what you want to see out of a guy who has lost a few title fights back to back to back, and still is going to make a run towards another one.
Like, what do you do if you're Max and you win the way he's winning right now? Because, like, the problem with Volkanovski is this kind of style just doesn't work against Volkanovski.
Yeah.
Who do you match him up with? Because he's clearly the second best guy in the division.
Well,
like, Zabit would be the next closest guy in the ranking. But, like, how long are I've said this a bunch of times. Max Holloway's best hope is that Brian Ortega wins the world title.
This is amazing.
Did you see him just like all of a sudden not get rocked anymore and just end the round? Like, all right, man, I'm good.
That's a 10-8 round, right? That's a 10-8 round.
Yeah, I think so. Max Holloway looks awesome.
Like, he didn't get dropped, but it was clear and far away the guy who hit harder and hit more often.
Well, that's the thing is that people are like, he's doing just enough to win. I think what they're like, I don't understand why like he's not knocking him out or anything. Max Holloway doesn't necessarily have Anthony Johnson knockout power, but he's going to drown you in that volume. That's exactly what's happening right now in this fight.
Yeah, I'm first of all, let me say I love Joseph. He's a big supporter of our show, but Sean being here brings out the heel in me just a little bit. So I just want to show this chat.
The heel in you. I don't make you be a jerk to people. You did all your
2 minutes later,
scratch that. Yeah. At least he can admit when he's wrong. You don't see that in MMA. Like you stick to your guns no matter what. Like like clearly he's not trying.
Sean, do you still feel bad for dropping an F-bomb on Denise Salcedo?
No, not at all.
All right.
No, not in the way that she's behaved since then. Not at all. Also, she was completely trolling about the Goldberg thing, like rolling her eyes and all that stuff. She knew what she was doing.
I'm just saying, Denise, like, white me baby face when she started at Fightful, and look at where she's at now.
No.
Even Jeremy Lambert's mean now.
I do a lot of character development on this network. What can I say?
There you go.
I bring out the best in people.
Who is the Bullet Club of Fightful?
Me.
Cross promotion. Who's the Bullet Club of MMA Media?
Me.
Alone? Solo?
Yeah, just me. Wow. Just me. I'm Tomatonga bitching at everybody else trying to get in.
The best blessed. Alistair Overeem says this is the best Max Holloway we've ever seen. Do you guys agree?
That's tough to say, like, you know, without watching his other fights. Like,
I just want to say, Wolf Bible, good friend, Mod on Fightful, in response to Dana White's announcement, said, Sean, I would like to announce that if I get hungry, I might eat something. No further questions.
That was lame.
Big announcement, 3 p.m. And of course, we're still on McGregor Standard Time because it's MMA. So it doesn't happen until like 3:45. But then he's like, hypothetically, Khabib might fight somebody. And I was like, come on, man. He fought a few months ago. Of course, he hypothetically might fight somebody. If it's Chuck Liddell saying that he's about to hypothetically fight somebody and you're entertaining it, I'd be a little more surprised. For many reasons.
So what do you think compelled Dana White to even like go on with making that statement? Like
putting pressure on Khabib. It's a negotiation tactic. It's the same thing with leaking fights to the media. It's just pressure.
Yep.
I just hope Khabib takes this and is like, I'm tired of you, Dana.
Yeah.
But at the same time, he posted the videos and stuff. He played the game too. So he's not like, you know.
Oh my God. Max Holloway, big body kick, uppercut. Calvin Kattar spits out a little blood.
I mean, here's the thing. Like, what are they going to do? Like, are people legit? I mean, it's MMA, so people will. Are they legitimately going to say, well, Khabib's afraid to fight Charles Oliveira?
Yes,
No.
that's exactly what's going to happen because, like you said, it's MMA. That is definitely going to happen.
It will, but
Kattar hit Holloway hard.
Nobody with reason expects that. They'll just know they didn't pay him enough.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, I love Holloway,
dude. Jiu-jitsu.
Yeah.
He's just so in the zone. Like he's dialed in.
Look at his face. Like look
accurate.
at his eyes. He looks
Habib's gonna train with Holloway and learn like the esophagus touch that put out Oliveira.
Oh yeah.
Have I interviewed Max Holloway?
Who?
Me.
How do you not remember that? It's Max Holloway. That's like saying
Dude, I forgot for the longest time that I interviewed because there was a time with Fansite when I was with Fansite, they would just give you the UFC would just give them phoners with like all the main eventers.
Yeah.
Shout out to your crushed relationships at Fansided, by the way. But
we don't need to talk about that.
I did it. Me too. In 2014, I was there.
Yeah.
Fella by the name of Josh Sanchez really hated me there. Really didn't like me there.
Josh, that was at Flow Combat later on?
Yeah, probably him. Really didn't like me there. Mike Dice was great. I liked him.
Yeah.
But I wrote an article about Renzo Gracie, and I used an image from their gallery, and it went through their editing team. And they're like, oh, listen, we got to suspend you because you used an unapproved image. I'm like, it was in your media gallery. It went through your editorial system.
Oh, man. Okay. Fanside upper management is the worst. They almost fired me for doing something completely in my rights. And then I had to. I just told my editor, I'm like, hey, let me respond to the email. And they're like, okay, go for it. And I talked myself out of it. But they were. And regarding Lucas, I have nothing but love for everyone at the fan-sided MMA team.
Made a lot of good friends there.
Yeah, I wish nothing but the best to all of them, and I am disappointed that conversations that I thought weren't that serious ended up hurting people's feelings. Never my intention. So,
fun fact, I actually started at their site, Cage Pages. That was like the first place I wrote, and then like,
who hasn't started fan-sided?
No,
dude, Holloway's getting chirpy now.
He's confident. He's in the zone. He probably feels like Calvin.
Do you guys see any chance of Calvin Kattar winning at this point?
No.
He's got pop in his hand. So I mean, if he catches him, but
a quick knockout.
Yeah. He almost did at one point. He did land a really hard punch. Max ate it well though.
Yeah, but Max, he's never been dropped, right? Something crazy like that. So yeah, like
I don't think he's ever been dropped. I mean, Dustin Poirier couldn't do it, and that was up a weight division.
Yeah.
Yeah, people thought Calvin was Dustin Poirier, but it's like, no. I mean, I understand why they would think that, but it's like, you saw Poirier's back compared to like Calvin's back. Like Poirier's gigantic, and you can't believe he used to be at featherweight.
I'll show this fan-sided story real quick while we're in between fights because I think I like the fan-sided MMA team. I'm not a fan of fan-sided as a company.
Terrible company.
So I paid out of my own pocket to go across basically the entirety of Canada to cover a fight night card headlined by Iaquinta and Cerrone. And so in my off time, like in between media days and stuff, I booked some of my own interviews outside of the hotel at people's Airbnbs, totally separate. Yeah. For Bloody Elbow. And then UFC, I guess, got upset with Fansided for letting me do interviews for Bloody Elbow.
Wow.
And I got this huge angry email from like upper management I'd never talked to. And I'm like, guys, I paid for it myself. I booked these interviews outside of work hours. And I never once used Fansided's name.
Yeah, but you can understand where they came from on that one. Like, UFC starts chewing you out. And then
So they have to do it because UFC is upset with them. But the reality is I didn't do anything wrong. And actually, when I sent my email, they said they didn't reply to me, but they let my editor Amy know that never mind, we're all good. So I'm like, come on, like you pay me nothing.
Yeah,
I pay out of pocket to go, and I don't want
working at that website costs you money.
Yeah,
it does. It costs me money.
I didn't even cash some of my paychecks. They were like 20 cents.
Yep. Although I will say this, when I left,
great though.
When I left, they paid me just to they paid me. And then a few months later, they accidentally paid me again. And I was like, oh, man, now I get at least a quarter of the work that I did there.
Yeah. Dude, shout out
JJ
to
said,
Jobber,
hello,
JJ.
Fightful family. Hope everyone's doing well.
Thank you, JJ.
Get those super chats up, guys. That's where it's at, Shaq. Once you get rolling in the super chats, come on.
There's no looking back. I know. We're on our way. We'll get there.
I had to finally put my foot down on the shows about a year or two ago and be like, if you want your comment read, you give us money.
I know. So there was a point where you were doing them without super chats.
Oh, yeah. A couple years ago, we weren't making any super chats.
Oh, my God. Calvin Kattar is so bloodied up.
Yeah,
this is looking exactly like
I love it.
Max Holloway versus Brian Ortega. Like,
Is
I don't
Sean's
think he can hold on to
accurate?
this. 4th round, you said, right, Sean?
Yeah.
Yeah, I sure did.
He's
Oh
fighting
my
back.
God.
Credit to him. Like,
This is gonna
nice
be it.
elbow by Calvin Kattar.
people are gonna
Herb's gotta
harp on
stop
it.
He's completely on autopilot right now.
Herb,
he's still
stop it. He's wobbling.
Yeah, but he's still throwing. Like he's, kinda
I know. I think what's stopping Herb is the fact that like these elbows are like, okay, no, that stumble was it. Herb's gonna stop it. Herb's gonna stop it.
Oh, man.
he's still trying to move though.
Still trying to move. He
It's
hasn't killed him.
It's Herb. Herb wants him to die before he.
That's what it is though. Every time Kattar connects, you think it resets it because you think to yourself, what if that was the knockout? What if the next one will be the knockout, right? I'm not agreeing with it.
Oh, no, Max. Don't go in there and clinch.
Clinch against the fence. Yes.
Maybe the shot hurt him a little bit.
This is a good fight. I thought we were gonna get technical.
This is awesome.
Max Holloway with his 74th win. I love it.
Guys, what a fight on family-friendly ABC to either make new fans or completely disgust everyone.
Well, I mean, a whole card, man.
Is this Stephan Bonner versus Forrest Griffin? Like for the UFC? You know, everybody hyped that up. Like it's.
Oh no! Why the takedown? Why doing that? Why the clinch up against the cage?
Maybe
I hate that.
Maybe Holloway needs a bit of a break.
I got to brush my hair too. Dang.
God, look at that. Okay, Holloway has landed more significant strikes than Calvin Kattar has thrown. 244 and counting.
I really think that fight should have been stopped against the cage, but whatever.
I mean, all the credit to Kattar, though.
Yeah, tons of credit to him.
How many annoying, like, how tough is Calvin Kattar tweets are we going to see after this? Because you know what it's code for. It's like, you got your ass whooped, but you didn't get knocked out. Like,
nah, man. No, you got to give Kattar credits too. Like, not only is he still able to throw back this hard, but...
No, but listen to what I'm saying. 100%. Like, obviously, you know, this is like the mental toughness, like, better than so many fighters. But how many people are saying that, and then you can see past what they're saying? Like, it's not just a simple, oh, you're so tough. It's like you're so tough compared to like the whooping you just took in that fight.
Yeah, fair enough. James Roberts wants to know who's winning so far. It's been super competitive. No, Max Holloway is. This is Max Holloway versus Brian Ortega again.
You guys have it. Could this be a 10-7 round?
No, I don't know, but here's an interesting tweet that you got to pay attention to. How tough is Calvin Kattar?
That is the question.
That's the question. You did say that. You did say, how tough is Calvin Kattar?
Oh, God, my mentions are about to be trash.
Guys, in between rounds, just a reminder, hit subscribe, notification bell, leave a like on this video.
I'm so dejected about it, guys.
Okay,
we're trying.
All right, folks, in between rounds, just a quick reminder, hit the subscribe button, tap the notification bell, leave a like on this video. If you want to help us do what we do, if you want Sean Ross Sapp to renew my deal, please leave us a super chat donation.
I'm the one.
It's Sean. It's all Sean. Leave a super chat donation. $1,000, $1. I got my preference, but it's all good. Bruh, my feet are hurting. These toesies
Sit on the toilet,
are feeling
bowl.
the pain. And if you want to save me, if you hit the super chat donation, I will sit in this toilet. I will move a real toilet bowl into the office.
If they donate like $100,000 in a super chat, maybe.
Like you buy 3 toilets to sit on.
Come on, man. Business, dude. You gotta.
And that was without a doubt a 10-8 round.
I'm gonna have to mute my notifications because already people are commenting on it. It's like, yes, I know. You don't have to convince me. It's like, he's so tough. That's the Boston. Yes, I get it. You guys don't have to explain it to me.
What do you guys think about having some fans back in attendance? Did you miss? It's weird. I missed like the pre-fight clapping and stuff. I kind of miss the silence of the actual fight. I like the way the strikes, you could like feel the strikes through the volume of the impact.
That's the only way, or the only time I missed fans or anything like that. I don't even notice it in football and basketball because they pipe it in, and baseball. But in wrestling and MMA, I definitely notice it.
Yeah.
Honestly, I don't care. Like, I've gotten so used to it. And plus I'm watching it on mute, so it's not like I would have noticed it anyways. But honestly, I really don't care. Like, I feel like fights are gonna be good, like no matter what. So,
I agree.
But
this fight especially.
Basketball, like the noise sounds real, but like the surrounding, you know what I mean? Like the arena kind of looks weird to me, but I'll get used to it. It's not like I have a choice anyways.
No. At least it's not the Thunderdome.
Hey, credit to Calvin, because you know what? Like, some fighters, I don't want to say they give up, but you definitely see a lot less volume going into a round like that, and he's still throwing. Like,
he's recovered surprisingly well, considering how bad. Like, there was a point of that fight where he couldn't take a step without falling over, and I think we're headed back into that territory
because he got hit in the temple. So, like, those legs might go. But see, what do you do with Max Holloway? Like, Shaq talked about it, but I don't see what you can do with Max Holloway. Like, aside from like the 13th rematch with the champion.
I know. I'm saying Brian Ortega's got to win the title. That's his immediate chance. Yeah, otherwise,
do you really want to see that fight again? Like
Ortega Holloway too? Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
if I want to watch. Yes. I want to watch Holloway fight new people. Is the thing. That's what I want.
Yeah,
put him up against Zabit. Then that's the next. But I think it's too early. I think Zabit needs one more big fight.
Look at Max being an ass, just eating those shots and saying, wagging the finger.
Zabit was losing round 3 to Calvin Kattar.
What a hot take!
I don't want to do that.
I have never heard that before.
They should put Max up against. They should put Max up against Matt Hamill because Tito Ortiz said he doesn't have an equilibrium, so he's easy to knock out. I think that'd be a good next fight for him.
Even though he had one of the best chins in MMA,
he did. I just remember Tito going, "Little thing you all might not know about deaf people, they don't have an equilibrium. They don't have an equilibrium.
Yeah,
and their heads are really soft."
You know those deaf people who just fall over constantly, tip over like a tree blowing in the wind.
Idiots voted him in. Oh man,
what does that say about Huntington Beach? Like, I don't know anything about it, but I feel like that tells me enough right there.
What are your thoughts on Holloway going to lightweight? I don't like it. I feel like his power doesn't translate well. The guys are too strong.
He needs to bulk up. Like, everybody said it, but he really if you're gonna do it, you got to do it like
you gotta get strong.
Yeah. I'm okay with him continuing to just fight people he hasn't fought at featherweight, and if he goes on a hot win streak and Volkanovski isn't champion, then obviously
Holloway's getting mad. Oh my God! Look at Holloway, hands down.
What an ass! Wow.
He's got a point to prove, dude. I think that Volkanovski loss.
Are they going to point to the ground? Are we going to get the Ricardo?
He is.
I hope.
We're close to it.
I can't believe Kattar's still standing. It's
incredible.
Hey, you want to talk about Boston strong? That's exactly what that is right there.
I mean, in the words of Lucas, how tough is Calvin Kattar?
God,
Lucas, listen, I can't have you back on these streams if you're going to have such basic surface level commentary.
This is coming from.
Oh my God, dude! I've never seen Max like this. Max has been kind of mean.
I love it. It's about time. I love it. He's trying to be a Hawaiian Diaz, which we already have with Medeiros, but I love it. Oof, that was nasty. Could you imagine he gets knocked out like last 10 seconds?
I just wish he didn't have like wings, like a wing back tattoo.
Wings. Good God.
It's one thing that takes away from my deep love for Max Holloway.
I barely even noticed them.
Right.
You know how many stupid ass shirts I used to see with those on them?
Bro, looking back on him, dude, crap, what was the name of
10 seconds, point to the ground.
Tap out gear was ugly.
Yeah, I mean WWE does tap out gear now, I think.
I feel like is the tap out gear like a little more refined now?
Yeah, well, it's a little more basic, which is what they needed.
Man, what a crazy fight.
They make training gear for WWE though.
So what is that? That is, I think, 2 10-8s.
Yeah, like
Or
Holloway.
3 10-9s, I think.
Holloway won that one.
Sean needs to tell all these people in my mentions to follow me. Like, everybody's giving me their hot takes on Max.
Did you see the one that said maybe there's no more power in Max? I'm like, shut the piss off.
What are you talking about?
Since when has Max Holloway been like a one-punch knockout guy?
He's not,
Ridiculous.
it's just like John Jones too. Like, same thing. They're not one punch knockout, but are you really going to tell me they're not a good fighter?
Also, something I hate is when somebody calls something a one-punch knockout in the 3rd round. I'm like, there were like hundreds of punches that preceded that likely contributed to said knockout.
I think for the most part, the way Max Holloway fights is way more exciting. Like, I love that teetering moment of not knowing, is the ref going to step in? Is he going to step in? Is Sean Ross Sapp wrong? Of course he's wrong. We're going 5 rounds. Like, that is way more satisfying, both personally and visually, than
who's
knockout here.
Correct, though? Did somebody say Holloway by a decision?
Sure, I did.
It's not really who I was going for.
That's what I said in my picks last week. But then when you put me on the spot, I always say something different. So
sure. Hey, you almost had it too. I was looking at it. I was like, oh my God. He pops in just for the main event, gets the right pick, gets out. Like, there's no way.
That's what I do, man.
Yeah.
I want to hear these scorecards. Like, we might hear like
Sean has like the relationship with MMA that I do with pro wrestling at this point. Is I get to decide when I want to tune in.
Yes, for sure. Like, you know what? Next Saturday night, I'll be right here. I'll be watching the fights.
All right, let's do it. Decision. I have it 50-43.
That's what I have.
I have it 50-40.
That's what the judges have.
I think that's what I think the judges will have.
Oh, did someone give it to him 50-42?
No, it's 340-53.
Okay.
Nice. Well, guys,
this was fun.
I've got to go prepare for Impact Wrestling Hard to Kill. YouTube.com/Fightful. Please subscribe to this channel. I'll do it for you, Shaq. Please flick that like, smash that subscribe, and pass along a super chat if you would be so inclined. What's with it? What's with all these stingy MMA fans?
Was that your Nick Cage impression?
No.
Close.
I could if
hey, I mean, listen, if Dana White comes after these illegal streamers hard enough, they'll have a little more spending money to put this way instead.
You all got to rely on Shaq for the watch-alongs. He's doing the commentary, where we're talking trash about fan-sided during the main event. I mean, this is what you came for.
Exactly. Yeah, guys, please hit everything. Hit me, hit Sean in the face, hit the like button. I don't care. As long as your testosterone is high and you smash that like button. Check in to Fightful all week long. We got that Conor McGregor trash talk reaction video coming out Monday or Tuesday. That's going to be bomb. Fighter picks for UFC 257. We'll have probably a tier list for Conor McGregor out as well. I'll be here next Saturday. Sean will probably be here next Saturday. Lucas, I got to give him some tips. But if he's willing to change, look at him there. Peace out, Sean. All right. We out. Yeah, there's no... I don't even know how to delete this is the problem now. All right, guys. Here we are. This is what we're left with. No watch along for UFC Fight Island 8, but we'll catch you back on Saturday for UFC 257. Lucas, tell everyone how much you love me.
I love